There we go.
Oh, snap. Oh man. How does it look on your side?
I think it looks good.
Very cool, very cool. So I can actually close this window because my video is like is weird. But if it's running smooth on your side, then we'll just go right into it.
Yes, it looks all good on my side.
Nice. That's all that matters. All right, so episode 385 of the show radio. I don't have tea like Daniela, but that's all good.
I
That
don't
is
have
all
a
good.
suit like Andrew, so
So it's
I
all
feel
good.
I feel
Are
like
you ready?
I'm not dressed for this occasion or something.
No, this is
You got
special. This
you
is
got
we're
your
making changes. We're bringing it up a little bit. We're doing Instagram live. We're doing random Facebook lives. We gotta bring it up.
yeah, that Instagram live thing is a little bit crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you feel about that? How did you feel about that whole experience? Because that was new to me too. When people just say, "Hey, I just want to come in and just chat with you for a minute," I was like, "Whoa,
That was kind of crazy. That was cool though. That was cool. That was fun.
absolutely, absolutely." So would you do that again?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, all
Maybe
right.
not on
So
a day where maybe we should have spent the last hour testing.
I know we didn't know exactly how it was gonna play out, but I like the pressure. I think the pressure is great. So I'm looking forward to the whole experience. But that was dope. I really enjoyed that. I was really really hot, so I was feeling all that pressure is good. So that was the IG live thing. So we're gonna be doing more of that. So if you're not following us on IG, definitely do that. Miss DJM, follow her there. Uriah, I'm Uriah, so definitely follow me there. URIYYA, and that was fun. Episode 385. I think that's the only promotional stuff I want to do at the top. Daniela, what is going on with you?
Man, what isn't going on? Okay, so did you? I know you've been kind of off of like social media and stuff. Like you're there but not there kind of thing. You been paying
Exactly.
attention to the news though?
Oh, the Haiti stuff, or which news in particular? The Trump
Yesterday,
stuff.
no. So yesterday, at about 8:07, 8:08 in the morning, we got a nationwide,
Oh, the
statewide,
ballistic stuff.
yeah, statewide emergency alert on our phone. It's like, well, I didn't get it. That's okay. Well, I'll get to that part of our story. But yeah, it's one of those like Amber Alert things, but it's an emergency alert. We're used to getting those things in case of like hurricanes, tsunamis, and it's just like an automatic alert that's sent out to everybody's mobile phones. And you know what it is exactly? Ballistic missile threat. This is not a drill.
Right.
And that's scary. And the thing is I didn't get it on my phone. So not everybody got it. There's like a very small percentage of people who didn't get this notification, this alert. But my boyfriend texted me, and he texted me something weird. He's like, "This is not a drill. What am I supposed to do?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I called him, and he reads out the message. I was like, "I didn't get that. I don't know what you're talking about. I just stay indoors."
Right.
And
Right. Right.
I was like, "Okay." And I'm at work, and usually at work, um we have like a text message service. So anything that bad happens, or like whether it be mother nature or whatever it is, they also send a text message. I didn't get one from work, and there was the
Mm,
people working, they were just as confused too, because they're getting words from their families, and some of them at work got a notification, some didn't. What was happening, we don't know. But all we know is that 2 3 months ago we had like this 2 hour training at work. Actually, it was like throughout the entire state, prepping us that they're going to start using the air attack sirens as part of their monthly testing from now on top of having a regular tsunami hurricane sirens. They're two
right. I
different
remember
sounds.
that.
So like our training in part of that was like, hey, what do we do in the event that there is an air attack, a bombing, a ballistic missile, anything like that? It was like a lot of things to cover. But the number one thing that they emphasized is from the time of launch, you have 20 minutes. but it'll take approximately up to 5 minutes before that message is disseminated to the entire state, leaving you
Hmm.
15 minutes to seek shelter. And
That's not a lot of time.
it really isn't. It's basically, it's like, get into the closest building. If you're out in the open, if you're out in the beach, you're out surfing, it's just that's kind of it. So you send the entire state of Hawaii into this mass panic because we don't have bomb shelters. I mean, we have some hurricane shelters, but it's not to cover the million or so people who live here. On top of that, the tourists that are visiting. And you just see like people just freaking out, and we're all at work. We can't leave. And even if we wanted to leave, majority of us, if we wanted to be able to get home on time, the closest person, the closest house to work is still a 15-minute drive.
Hmm.
And I was a 45-minute drive away from my home. There's nothing like there's nothing that I could do. And I have like I still didn't get the notification, but I have friends, I have family that are calling me. They're like, "What's happening? What are we doing?" Like, or they're just simply calling or texting me to say I love you. And
Wow.
that was like serious, like, oh my God. And the only thing that I could think of was just to call my son. And that was probably, oh man, I'm like tearing up thinking about it. That was probably the hardest phone call I've ever had to make because my
Hmm.
son is 45 minutes away from me. So, and he is staying with his dad. And I called and I was like, I calmly asked, I was like, "Are you at home?" And like my ex-husband, he was like panicked and he was freaking out. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to think. And I was just like, "Just, are you at home?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I want to talk to my son." So my son was sleeping and he didn't even know what was happening. He just wakes up and he's like, "Oh, what's up, Mom?" And I'm like, "Hey." And like he instantly knew. He's like, "What's wrong?" I was like,
Hmm.
It's fine. I just wanted to tell you that I love you." He's like, "What's happening? What's wrong?" It's like, "It's fine. It'll be okay. Just go back to sleep." Like,
Wow.
what am I what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? We are 45 minutes away from each other, and I feel like, so we have 15 minutes to possibly live. And you're like the only person that I want to be next to, and I can't. And it's just like, the thing is that 15 minutes felt like forever. And then when it got to minute 16, 17, 18, like, what is happening? And we're like looking at social media, we're looking at all these things. And so finally on social media, it's like false alarm. I'm like, "What do you mean it's a false alarm?" Like, I need some authority figure, somebody to say this is a false alarm. And finally,
Right.
Tulsi Gabbard, she's part of our Congress for the state of Hawaii. She's like, "It was a false alarm. There's no threat. It's a drill." And it's just like, that came 38 minutes later. That was the worst 38 minutes of my entire life.
Wow. That's
There's
crazy.
there's nothing that ever just made my heart sink as much as those 38 minutes. And I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, how do you mess this up? And it's like, as news trickled in, it was like something like, "Oh, it was a shift change. They accidentally sent it out. You know, this was a mistake." I'm like, how? How do you accidentally hit
Right.
send? And how is it that it's controlled by one button? One. Like, come on. And then and then again, if you know you hit it by accident, why isn't there some procedure of being like, "Oh my God, sorry," and just like send out immediately that it was a mistake, rather than
Right. Right.
having the entire state in this panic? And I had friends that were just saying that the first thing they did was grab their kids. They didn't bother to call work. They didn't bother to take any of their personal belongings, and they went to the closest family member that they could get to, in that 20-minute span. You had people on the beach who just dropped literally everything they had and ran. And you had people who opened up their homes that lived on the beachside to these perfect strangers that are like decided that they were going to go to the beach that morning. And like that's a beautiful thing of this terrible thing, but nobody should ever feel that way.
Right.
Ever. And the sad thing is that we live in a time where that is so completely possible that this can be a real thing. And it's just like I hope that opens the minds of so much people, and to realize, especially as the state of Hawaii, to realize what is actually really important to you. Because I honestly wasn't thinking about anything else. I was just like, the only thing I want to be with my son. That's it. There's nothing. I didn't think about my bills. I didn't think about what it is that I had to do tomorrow or what I did or what I have. It was just the most important person in my life. And then to just be stuck at work. Like that's ugh. It was horrible, and I'm just so infuriatingly mad. Like once that calm, I was like, okay, I can take a deep breath. It's all right, kinda, but I'm angry. Just
Absolutely. You have
angry.
every right to be angry. I mean, I did see the tweet and I was like, whoa, okay. Um, I didn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? It was just kind of weird. It's just like, wow, just, pray and that kind of thing. And, um, but yeah, I did see that. I saw someone take a screenshot of it somewhere on Twitters and stuff. And I was just like, okay,
It was pretty heavy. It
interesting.
was crazy. And I don't know. Okay, this sounds so selfish, and there should be some weird kind of compensation. I'm not saying it has to be a monetary value, but there's you you like this person, whoever this person, and their shift change, whoever it is.
Right.
You literally just sent a million people to feel like they were about to die.
Right.
That's traumatizing. That is scarring. That I don't even know what to say.
Right. I mean, so in a case like that, if anything, you know, some retraining should be done or something, right?
Yeah,
Some
absolutely
measure of action
something.
should be taken for that because, when you're, it's a traumatic situation like that. Everyone is concerned about the most important things and people to them, right? And usually people, not things, in a case like that. So there should be some retraining of how those actions should be taken. If you're not sure, definitely ask questions as you're playing with people's lives. So that was just an interesting thing that I did. I briefly saw on Twitter, on social media. Which, yeah, like you said, I'm on and off, but when I was on, I did see that.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? When I finished work and I was going home, and there's a stretch of beach that isn't always so packed. You may have like maybe 3 or 4 cars out on the beach. And it's a long stretch. It's about like a 2 mile stretch
Mm,
of just beach, and it's never ever packed. Like when I drove past there today, it was just packed with people, and I had people who just like called into work. They're like, no. This morning I thought I was gonna lose my family. Today I'm gonna spend it with my family.
right, right, right. Okay, so there's the other thing about that too. I was having a conversation with somebody this week, and we were talking about relationships and different things like that. And one thing I had mentioned to the person is it shouldn't take trauma for us to behave the way we ought to behave in certain cases. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it shouldn't take trauma for me to tell you how I really feel about you, and it shouldn't take trauma for us to appreciate the people in our lives that we should say that we appreciate. It should not take a car accident, should not take stroke, should not take a heart attack. You get the idea.
Mhm.
So that whole thing, and I guess that's where I'm at. Even with the Instagram stuff they were doing earlier, just we had some different individuals jump on. Hip Hop Gamer jumped on, chat with us, and all the individuals that populated the chat, which was really cool. and I really enjoyed that vibe. You jumped on and we had a conversation in regards to just hanging out over there. And I think that when somebody blessed your life and in some way, shape, or form, it shouldn't take a traumatic situation or event to get to a place where you're like, bro, or you know sis, or whatever. I really appreciate your life. You know what I mean? And I think that um, we need to get back to that, where if somebody really is making an impact on your life, just tell them. And I think that we're getting really, really far removed from that. Maybe it's pride, maybe it's possessions. I don't know. People's brands are so up there, they don't feel like even the Logan Paul thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not going to spend too much time on. That was interesting to me because maybe 2 years ago, I did a little research on that particular mountain for Japan, what people actually go to do there, and the fact that that whole thing happened with him, that involved him, that's just weird. So, I mean, that's all I got there.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, and you're totally right. It really is. I think we all somehow get stuck in that routine about what we're doing, and you're so focused on yourself instead of the people that are around you, and that you forget to value those people that you have in your life. And that's it's funny because I didn't really take the time, and I guess it's funny, and I also feel good about it at the same time, and it's weird. I didn't I didn't feel the need to call anybody. I didn't feel the need to say, like, I need to message you to tell you how I feel. And that made me feel good because at least I know that I'm at a point with the people in my life where they know these things. They know how I feel about them. They know how much they mean to me. That I don't need to tell them any last words. Because if in the event I did die, I know that the people that are important to me in my life know how I feel. They know that I love them. They know that I care about them. They know that I've always been there for them. And that felt good. And that the only person I wanted to be with it was just my son. It was. Like, I could have just called my best friend, but my best friend knows that I love her. I could have called my grandmother. I could have called my dad. It was just like, I feel really settled and really good place in my life to be able to be like, you know what, they're fine. I know the way they feel towards me. I know how I feel towards them, and I know that I pass that message to them that I will not have any like unsolved or not unsolved. What's the word I'm thinking of? Unresolved issues or ties with anybody, and that's kind of a good feeling in a way.
Hmm.
I see those gears turning in your head there.
What does that mean?
Because I want to know what you're thinking.
No, it's I think it's sad. I think that's where I am with it. I think it's sad. Give somebody a hug. Just let them know. That's where I am with it. That's really where I am with it. Where even when we were doing the Instagram live earlier, I think I said something to the effect of no more hiding, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically what that means is if you want to show aspects of your life, uh, you shouldn't wait for permission from the social media world to give you permission to show your life. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of individuals out there who are waiting for a particular benchmark before they start creating content the way they want to create content. Like, I could care at this stage in the game. I could care less what people think about me, but I really care a lot what people think about me. So it's kind of like a very interesting contradiction in and of itself. But I just want to have fun. I just moving forward, just have fun, create content, focus on conversations. Um, even now, I know I have some phone calls I need to return, but I want to return them as a phone call, not a text. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm at. If we can't have a phone conversation, but we rather text back and forth, where are we at really? So this is apparently this is deep episode 385. I don't know what this is, but it's just one of those things that, I really want to, be at a place where, yeah, I can just make a phone call and have a conversation. I don't have to wait for my tweets to refresh every 5 minutes. It's ridiculous. Let's really be, real about what we're doing here, right? So I think that just only a few individuals highlight in my mind, like, that I really want to have a conversation with this year, and maybe that'll change, because it's only the first quarter of 2018. But I just don't want to play the online games anymore. Maybe Destiny once in a while, but outside of that, in the context of what we're talking about, I just don't really have time for it right now, and I think that's where we're at. But so yeah, the gears are still turning in relation to that. But yeah, so that's what's going on. 385.
Pretty
Miss
heavy.
DJM, what's up?
I just
Pretty
like went
heavy.
in on the heavy part of this. It's like, hey, we did this Scrub Live, and then we're just like, really sad.
Word.
And then we're gonna
Word.
bring it
No, no,
really,
but
really, really happy in there.
that needs to be mentioned, right? And I think that, taking that, let's just take the spotlight off of us for a second, and put it on the individuals who are listening, right? You need to feel the same way about the content that you're creating or preparing to create for the world, right? You already have permission to create content. You have the stuff, just go do. That's it. Just get it done, because you have the stuff. Your personality is different from ours, and the content you're going to create is different from ours, and people need to see that. They need they do not need to see another us or another whoever you're watching or listening to, right? And I think that we need to embrace that for 2018, because the algorithm for Facebook has changed in relation to how they're really focusing. They're not even doubling down, they're tripling down on the live stuff, right? So you need to pay attention to that. So Instagram, they're making changes on the fly, but live is the thing. Twitch, obviously, we're here live on Twitch, right? So all the live platforms, Periscope, let's really focus in on why are you not on right now, right? When was the last time you turned it on? And I could say that with full confidence because in the last 2-3 days, we did Instagram, I did Facebook Live at home in my kitchen, I did Periscope in my media room. Tomorrow I have to do Periscope for some stuff related to ministry. So I'm as uncomfortable as it gets right now in relation to those platforms and stuff, but I'm having fun right now. I'm really having fun. And I think that the less I see the junk of social media, the easier I feel in relation to the things that I need to do. Because I spent a lot of time looking at junk last year, and that's not happening this year.
Yeah, all that extra noise is just that noise, a distraction. So,
Right.
I mean, I understand where you're getting at. I don't think I could ever just completely disconnect. Although December was
No,
really, really
never.
nice.
We're not. We're not
I know,
doing
I
that. We're
know,
not
I know.
completely.
But you're giving your voice a more centralized purpose rather
Yeah.
than paying attention to everything else that's going on and outside and trying to take that all in and then funneling it back down. You're just keeping
Right.
your purpose there
There's
where it needs
there's
to
a
be.
there's a lot of fine tuning happening right now. Like a lot of reading. It's very intentional. It's very focused. I'm not going to spend a lot of time socializing on social media, although I can. And there's going to be times for that. But the amount of time where I could have used to create content on Instagram, on Facebook, on Periscope, one or the other, or two or three out of those, whatever, I'm going to do that this year. That's the focus.
I'm with you on that one. I had to think about that. I was like, what is my focus for the year? And I think I pretty much lines with yours. My very focus is just focusing on what I have and what I have on my plate now. And I'm
Absolutely.
still always going to be there for the people who need me.
Absolutely.
If you hit me up outside and you're just like, "Hey, I need your help. You need this." I'm going to be there. The one thing I am kind of changing, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I feel like I need to do it for my own mental health, is that reaching out or overextending my reach and extending that to people who don't necessarily ask me for help. Like
Okay.
I'll always keep my mind open in case in those circumstances where it's like obvious this person needs help
Right.
and they don't know how to ask for it. But then I also do that for just people like, hey, yeah, I can help you with that. Even though they're not asking, they're not putting it forward, and they can probably do it on their own. It distracted me. It took me away from what I needed to do for myself. And so my purpose for me this year is for me, and and going forward from there.
Okay. So you're helping as long as they reach out, or you're helping intentionally certain individuals even if they don't reach out.
No, if they reach out, I will. Because I feel at the same time, it wasn't reciprocated. Like there's people who obviously were kind of seeking help. They were struggling with something. I reached out to them. But when it came to, returning the favor or like, hey, I'm just wondering if you can help me with this, it was always some kind of weird excuse as to like, oh, I don't have time for this or I can't do that. Or, they say, yeah, 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 I can do it. But then they just drop the ball and they're just like MIA.
Hmm.
I'm not saying like everything that I do, you have to pay me back. I'm never expecting it. But like there's a couple times where I like, hey, I want your opinion on this. Just like I'm gonna send it your way. Just let me know what you think. And it was just like even that was just too much. I'm like, okay. In my mind, and maybe it is, and maybe I'm being a little bit selfish, but in my mind, I was like, how much gonna take for like 2 minutes, and for you to tell me like, yeah, you hate it or you don't like it or you love it, and be done with it. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm changing the way I feel about that. So definitely shout outs to El Taco for hanging in the chat. If you have any questions, any comments, please feel free. And I think that the show is going to be as long as the content is, like really this year. So if there's nothing left at the end and we're about to close out, then we're closing out. But I definitely want input for those of you in the chat, so we can like move off of that. The tangents would be great with your input. So if you have any, definitely do that. So giving is not giving if you're expecting something in return.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give whatever you want to give, right? I'll give. It does feel uncomfortable at times when you give to the same person and it's not reciprocated, right? But if my original intent is to give, then it doesn't matter.
True.
And I think that's how I'm rolling with it. So, I'll get phone calls sometimes. Hey, what's this? I'm starting a new podcast. What do you think about that? I'll even give branding. I'll ever give names, naming conventions, what's in, for iTunes, shorter names work really well. That kind of thing. 1 word or 2 words, max 3 words. 3 words that make sense. Not like the show radio, because that doesn't make sense unless you understand what the branding is. So that kind of a thing. So I'll give the advice. But if I know I'm giving outright, then whether you call back or not, it really doesn't matter. And I've made peace with that, and I think that that's okay.
I think I'm trying to figure out how to make peace with that. Because I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. If you're going to do something, just do it. It's awesome.
Right.
And and that's great, and that's how everybody should live their lives. And I guess the point like where I'm kind of stuck and learning to get over is that and this really has to be with a very specific niche of people, is when I'm helping the same people over and over again and
Right.
giving, 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 giving. And then it gets to just like that one point of like, hey, I've been doing this for you for like the last year. Could you just, this one little thing? And
Right.
it's just like, no, I can't. After, I'm like, okay. All right, cool. I thought we were a little bit closer and a little bit more friends than that. And I think that's
Right.
kind of where I get stuck, is where I help so much that I thought that even we're chatting, we've developed this friendship, this type of relationship, and we even talk and chat about things outside of whatever I'm helping you with, that I thought we were cool like that, and then we're not like that.
Right. Okay.
I'm just like,
So that should
okay,
be
cool.
so. And those times, we should celebrate, right? Because if people show you who they are, then you just have to believe them, right? So we
Yeah,
should
and then,
celebrate those times where those things happen, and you're like, oh wow. So now you just have to let it go and move on, because if you add any more energy to that, it's just going to continue draining you because you're spending time thinking about it.
yeah. So it's bye,
You know what I mean?
Felicia.
It's bye, Felicia. So yeah, so and that's what it has to be, and I think that what's really helping me a lot with those things, even now, is the reading is giving me like a different focus. Like I'm in it. It's giving me a different focus on how I think about things. Who am I focusing time on? What conversation I want to have? Who I want to sit down with? Even locally, and New York and stuff like that. And it's great. This is good times right now. Most of my password stuff is done. I'm still working through that. Just a couple of things left, but the bulk of that is done this past week. So I'm like, I'm feeling really, really good right now.
Good. That's awesome.
And you should too, Daniela.
I'm working on it. I'm working on this whole, growing and
Let them go.
adapting and
Let
being
them
a better
go.
adult and
Let them
stuff.
go.
I'm learning.
Let them go. Like, you're dope. People, if people don't understand, what they're receiving, having a relationship with you, I know I've been blessed by it, and I appreciate you. So, I'll speak for myself. They're losing out. They're the one missing out, and that's what it is.
You know, you're right. You're always right. But it's just a
Okay.
learning experience. It's one thing to listen and to agree. It's one thing to, and it's a whole different thing to start incorporate it and start working in it, and it's changing what you're so used to, and that's where I'm at. El Taco Justice says, I feel that it happened with a lot of closer friends. I guess in the end, those people either didn't know how to be supportive in return, or I don't know. I still can't figure out what they had going on in their lives, but yeah, I mean, if it meant something, they will come around. And that's true too. And
Right.
sometimes you just gotta give them that time. Gotta give them that space. You never know what's going on in another person's life. You really don't. There
Right.
could be tons of
Uh,
things going on.
yeah. 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 So let's kind of unpack that a little bit, right? So sometimes the people who are going through things don't even know how much noise that they have that they need to get rid of, right? So for example, social media is great. The Instagram stuff is great. Facebook stuff is great, right? Twitter stuff is great. But if I email you, there's no noise. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I think even in a conversation of having those situations with people, filtering out the noise is best to get to the actual point. And sometimes filtering out the noise involves the individuals being self-aware about who they are, right? Because if you're not, that's noise in and of itself, because you don't even understand yourself. So it's kind of hard to have a conversation with somebody who don't even understand themselves. So there's noise there that they need to unpack and be honest with themselves before you can even have a conversation. So there's that. Okay. So once you get past that, then, in terms of contacting and stuff like that, you can kill the noise through straight text, email, because that, especially DMs now for IG, that's a little bit easier than DMs on Twitter, depending on your intentions, right? You can really get to the person and have a conversation with them. So some people don't even know who they are. So you know what I mean? Like, so there's noise there that you have to work through before you even have an actual conversation. That could be tough too.
We went super serious in this. We just like opened up
Yeah, what's
serious.
up?
We just like,
385,
jeez.
bro.
And it's only the
385 is a little
second
deep.
episode of the year. My
What's up?
goodness. That's,
What's going on, Jumanji? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I like how we're gonna bring you down here, but we're gonna bring
what
you back up
up?
with Jumanji.
What's up, Jumanji? So what's going on there?
I'm gonna say something that's even more serious about Jumanji, and
Look
it's
at
I'm
you.
probably gonna get some like hate for this real fast.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start off with this. I enjoyed Jumanji more than Star Wars.
Okay, so let's work through that. So let's work through that a little bit.
Okay, so decided last minute to go and watch it. I think uh Rob says what? The Rock and Kevin Hart is kind of like my new favorite comedic duo.
Okay,
They're
that's fair.
they're incredibly funny, and I like their chemistry on the screen and how they work together. I think the last duo I probably really enjoyed on the screen was probably what, Chris Rock and Jackie Chan, Rush Hour,
Right, that was good.
and it was good. And like the comedy was funny. Even the stuff that they showed in like trailers that I saw, I don't know how many X amount of times, was still funny when I watched it in the movie. And I didn't go into watching Jumanji thinking that I was gonna like it nearly as much as I did because I loved the original one with Robin Williams.
Right.
And hey there, Try. And we are friends,
What's up,
Rob.
Try?
And it was super enjoyable from the get go. I went in there thinking like this is gonna be terrible. It's gonna be a bad remake. I don't even know what to expect from it. This seems so cheesy. And it was a good type of cheesy. The like it wasn't like a forced kind of comedy. It wasn't like it's bad to compare Star Wars and Jumanji in the same category, but with Star Wars, I feel like the comedic points that they put into it was forced.
Okay.
Yeah, they were funny, but for that moment, if I was to go back and watch Star Wars again, I probably wouldn't find it funny again. I wouldn't have that same hit. But I do know that when I watch Jumanji again on Blu-ray or whatever it is, I'm still gonna enjoy it. I'm still gonna laugh about it. I'm still gonna find it funny. And I that counts for a lot to me is that replay value, that rewatch value to it. And the story was really good. The action was really good into it. Yeah, I mean it's not like lightsabers kind of action, but it was still enjoyable to watch. And I had more to say about Jumanji after watching it than I did Star Wars. Like, there were some questions I had, and we had some discussions, but it was more questions of why rather than like, hey, this is like my favorite part, this is what happened. And that's one of the favorite things that I love to do with my family after we're done watching a movie is like we talk about what we enjoyed about the movie. We enjoyed or talk about our favorite parts. Why was our favorite parts? We remember our favorite lines. We do all these things. And there was more of that with Jumanji than there was with Star Wars. With Star Wars, it's like, yeah, it was good. And I went to watch Star Wars with a bigger group of people. And our conversations lasted, maybe like 20, 30 minutes after. And like, yeah, okay. And then the more we thought about it, it was kind of like, okay, why did this happen? Like, that was super cheesy. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. That would have happened this. And I'm not going to give any spoilers for Star Wars still. But it just, Jumanji had a lasting effect that I enjoyed. It was a great family film. If you haven't watched it yet, I really highly suggest that you do. And it was it had a really nice tie to it. It wasn't trying to like rip off the original. It wasn't forcing anything. And again, just Kevin Hart and The Rock together is a great duo.
Okay. Question:
Yes.
Is Star Wars considered a comedy now?
That's the way that I feel like it's going to, and it's trying to force it to be Disney family friendly. Because I don't ever consider or Star Wars trying to be like a comedy, but the points that they were trying to make and make you laugh was just why? Like, you don't need to do that. Like, the comedic person that has always been there was always Han Solo. Like, he should be the only ones that crack really snide jokes. It really didn't need, like, Star Wars really did not need any of that. That's my personal opinion. I didn't like it. I mean, did I laugh? Sure. But then you look back on it, it's like, yeah, that's not Star Wars. That's you trying to force it to be something that's not, and it makes it awkward.
Hmm.
And it didn't
Interesting.
sit well, and still doesn't sit well with me.
Well, I mean, Kevin Hart, I think he's funny. Um, a lot of individuals don't think he's funny. I think he's funny. Rock has always been, you know, comedic and funny, and he's pretty dope. He's been like that for years, ever since the wrestling stuff. I think so. When he started his acting career, then it was just like, okay, I figured that that was gonna happen sooner or later. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm gonna wait. I usually wait,
Yeah,
but well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely excited about it because I like both of those actors, so that's gonna be dope.
I would, if I had to give a rating out of 10, I'd give it a solid 8. A nice solid 8.
That's good.
Because I really, really liked it. Like, I actually do want to go and own it. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this because people will be like, how is it better than Star Wars?
Right?
Sorry,
No,
man.
no. I
I'm sorry.
mean,
I liked it.
it's all good. It's all good. Eight is really solid. Seven is solid, but you said eight. Whoa, that's all right. That's all right. All right. So that's what's going on with that. Man, the out of the gate got deep. It got emotional. It got woo. Woo! What's going on? 385. What's going on? So those are some of the things that we're thinking about, even at the top of the show. If you're just joining us, we've been doing a lot of things today, from Instagram Live to Facebook Live to even jumped on Periscope, whatever that is. Periscope earlier, jumped on that. And now here we are, twitch.tv/the show radio live. And so we're just excited about that. So technology. Okay, so a couple of things I did see in technology. I definitely wanted to jump into that. Podcasting standards, updating your episode seasons and numbers. Okay, so that in and of itself can be very tedious if you're updating your episode and the seasons to match what the standards are going to be for Apple Podcasts, because they're changing all the standards. Like, you can't have a number in your iTunes title anymore. So if you have over 500 700 episodes, it's going to be very tedious to go in one episode at a time to adjust all those numbers and seasons. So if you're hosted with Libsyn, they have the ability to allow you to do that in a very, very, quick and efficient manner. And, so definitely shout outs to them for allowing us to have that, opportunity to even do that. So I would say, if you're on Libsyn, reach out to them and find out what they're talking about by way of making it easier for you to update your episodes and seasons. I had to, send them a shout out. They don't have it posted anywhere. It's something that you actually have to contact them for. So that's your legwork if you want to update all your episodes. If you're over 400, you're not going to go in one by one and do that. So if you're on Libsyn, definitely contact them with that. Also, I think, don't quote me on that, Alexa skill is a big thing. The voice stuff is becoming a big thing, as you know. See if there's an opportunity for you to add a skill for your podcast through your provider. Okay, so definitely consider checking that out and see if that's even an option for you. Any comments on those two things, Daniela?
What if I want to go back and renumber all 385 episodes that I do?
One by one? You want to do it one by one?
No, I'm kidding.
If you want to do it one by one, like I've added,
What
that's gonna
what
take some
Rip
time.
what about that change? That they're just nope, no more
This, yeah.
numbers.
Pardon me.
So like what brought around the change that they decide like, yeah, no more numbers, guys. Sorry.
Well, I guess they're trying to make everything easier to search. So, at one point, you would put the title with the number in it, and then for iTunes, you probably had the same information, so you doubled up on the information. Now they're saying you can put it in one of the headings, but as the official iTunes title for this episode, whatever the episode number is, you're going to put in the title where we ask you to put in the title, the season where we ask you to do that, and then the box that we allow you to put the number in, that's where you put that in. So if you have over 500 episodes, you're not going to go back and open every single one and do the title, scratch out the numbers that you put in that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then the season number, whatever, if you do a season number, and then the episode number, and then save that, and then do it again and rinse and repeat. You're not doing that, okay, for 400 episodes. Like it was tedious just to do it with the tip that they gave me to do. But what was interesting about that too, something awesome came out of that. Something absolutely awesome came out of that. Okay, I'm gonna share. So what was interesting with that is, as I looked at the title, because now it was at a stage where I can look at pages of the episodes, right, and I could make the changes in blocks. And what was interesting about that is, most of my titles were really trash.
Oh my god.
They were.
I'm sorry, I was not expecting you to say that.
They were absolute doo doo. Okay, they were pretty bad. So now, as I was looking at the titles, I see all the titles on the screen. I'm like, what was I thinking? Why did I name this episode that? Why? So now, so I'm seeing everything in front of me, and I'm like, okay, now I can make the changes based on what I've learned. Because episode, let's say 158, the title was trash, but I can go back and say, okay, so now I could do like a teaser for this title. I could do things that you should have done that you probably didn't know you had to do. That's a title right there. That, whoa, what is that? Whoa, let me click on that. So versus, some of the things, three things that you wish you should have done before the new year started. Oh, what is that? Boom, let me go in there. So now it gave me an opportunity to look at all the titles straight down, for whatever page number that one. I think I had like 6 pages of the way the blocks were set up, and I was able to make those changes. And what ended up happening, which I shouldn't be surprised, but it happened, the download numbers shot up, right? Because everything was SEO friendly inside of the Apple podcasting universe, if you want to say that, inside the iTunes universe. SEO, it has its own SEO. So whatever somebody searched, YouTube, if I interviewed somebody on YouTube and I say, this is person blah blah blah, and I do that line, what's that line above the enter, that straight line
The pipe?
for the space there, yeah, the spacer, whatever. So I say the person's name, that thing, that spacer, and then YouTube. So if somebody happens to search YouTube, they'll come up with that interview because that's in the title. So I was able to re-edit every single podcast episode that I've done with Libsyn. So I came in Libsyn about 130 something. So maybe 119, 120. So anything prior to that was on Block Talk Radio. So I left it there. So I picked up inside of Libsyn about 130 to 385 or 384 at this point. And that's pretty much, what the changes were. So yeah, so that was definitely an interesting thing.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But it needed to be done. So now every time I do a new episode, I don't have to think about if it lines up with the standards of, Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. So if they need to feature any particular, podcast, and they're looking for one that meets all their standards, all the stuff that they need to have, we're in the number, we're in that pot for whatever that is.
Man, you're crazy, man. That's a lot of work. Okay.
So that's what's going on with that. Smart speaker study by Edison Research and NPR. WPA3. Let me just click on the. Okay, so the smart speaker study. There was some interesting data in there. Let me see if I can open that up real quick. Some of the things I saw in there. 16% of Americans 18 plus own a smart speaker, or around 39 million people. Let me tell you who it does not include, Daniela.
Me.
But soon. I think you're going to make that change sooner or later. It talks about 39% listening less to AM, FM. So what's interesting about that, and I'm just going to read those 2 stats and then actually close that tab. What's interesting about the whole surge of listening to audio stuff that we've had in the last, since 2000, let's say 2008, 2009, where people really started going back to see how important podcasting has been and is even today, right? So what's happening with all that is we're actually listening to stuff like people used to in the 60s and 70s, right? Like the baseball games and those kind of things. They would huddle up, their family will huddle up next to the radio and then listen to the program, whatever that program is. We're actually almost going back to that, right? Yes, we're mobile. Yes, we're listening to stuff on the go. But when we're like, hey, G, put on whatever, whatever, and we're actually doing the vibe with the kitchen stuff or the living room stuff with all these smart speakers. And I think that's very interesting.
You know what? Now that you're bringing that up, that's actually kind of an amazing point. So sometimes, what is it, Mondays and Thursdays or something like that, whenever football's playing. The last there's matches, there's matches, there's games. This is how you know that I do not pay attention to any sports at all.
There's exhibition matches happening real time.
There's this stuff and this ball. I don't know what sport it is, but anyway, so I do know that in the last 30 minutes of work, everybody's like kind of like calming down at the end of the day of the work. We're doing the last of our logs and we're doing our time cards online. Somebody will always have their phone up and it's listening in to the game, whether it be basketball, whether it be football. They have the game up and they're listening to it. And that's how usually the ending of those days, which I think is Monday and Thursdays, go, because you can't be at home. You can't be watching. I mean, we're at work, especially when we live in Hawaii and we live in this Harry Potter time zone that is so far behind everybody else. And that's what they're doing. And it's funny because that's how they listen to a lot of the games, and they'll just like put it up when they're leaving, put it up on their Bluetooth in their car, and I can hear them listening to it as they drive away. And I think there's been a few circumstances, and again, I don't watch sports, so I must have been really, really, really great, where it was probably the last quarter, and they're still there, huddled around said person's phone, listening to it because they need to know how this game ends. And it's like there's no better way of enjoying a game than with your friends, people who enjoy it with you as well. So I never really thought about that until you just brought that up. Like, yeah, that's kind of what's happening. And even then, like, I've been to cookouts where the guys are still doing that same thing because you don't have a TV outside, or we're barbecuing on the beach. You can listen to it on your phone like real easy. So that's actually a really great point.
Yeah, so we're going back to that, and it's beautiful, and not only we're going back to that, we're enjoying it. We're enjoying it. So we have all this technology in the palm of our hands, maybe more technology for the people that went to the moon, I'm sure, right? And we're listening to the radio. Like, it's just, that's what we're doing now. So it's fun to see that. It's I love it. I love podcasting. I love listening to shows, and the dynamics, the storytelling, and all that stuff is really, really dope. So that's what's going on there. WPA3, that's a thing. Okay, so those broadcasting things, I'm trying to understand, why are they doing them in secret meetings? Does anybody ever wonder that? Like, a lot of the solutions that we have for the Wi-Fi, I don't know what you call it, standards, certifications, or whatever. Why are they always done in a secret meeting that is not open to the public, that we can actually have a international discourse about? You know what I mean? Why? Why is that happening? So WPA3 is a thing, or it's becoming a thing, more of a thing than it was, a couple of months ago. I'm going to have a link in the show notes about that. I think that's an interesting conversation too, exactly what they're trying to do with that. And then the next thing is 7 ways to make Windows run faster. I'll have a link in the show notes about that. Any comments on those two things?
Man, I can only think that right now I'm thinking about how I can make my computer run faster.
What are you going to do? What would you do to make your computer run faster right now?
Yeah, upgrade my CPU and my motherboard. Because
Okay.
I'm starting to dabble in After Effects. And so it runs everything else great. Awesome. I can play games on Ultra. I can do all of these things. And then I got to like, okay, I'm going to start dabbling in like After Effects on Adobe and maybe see what I can learn from like video editing, and I did something. I just wanted to see how it's gonna like turn out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and hit render, and it was like maybe 3 minutes. Like, yeah, it was exactly a 3 minute video.
Did you say 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3 minute video. Okay.
Okay.
I was just because I was just testing out all these different effects that I was like learning, and I just found these tutorials on. I just wanted to just do this, and I wanted to send and show it to a friend, and 7 hours, 7 hours to render 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god.
Why did it take that long?
Well, okay, so I tried all these different things and these different compressions and different settings. I have I have a friend who does video editing for a living. That's what she does. And she's giving me all these tips and doing all these things. And she says like even for her, it would take her maybe less than 2 hours to render certain things, depending on how many pre-compositions I had, how many different effects, how many different things. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I sent her like a kind of a screenshot of everything and a screen share, and I was like telling her this is what it is. She's like, yeah, it shouldn't take you that long. And I'm like, well, what is it? And she's like, it might be because you're overloading your CPU.
Hmm.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? And I was like my world just shattered. I'm like, 7 hours.
That's not cool.
No, it isn't. And I'm like, I don't want to upgrade, but I need to upgrade now if I want to do this. Because there's no way I'm
Right.
going to be waiting this long.
7 hours. Man,
So,
that's a long
if
time.
anybody, but then at the same time, she also told me, because I have Adobe Creative Suite, like Creative Cloud, and she told me something that like don't always upgrade to the latest update that they have. Sometimes it's not always optimized for those renderings, because she had the same thing happen to her, where all of a sudden her less than 2 hours or 1 hour to 2 hour renders were taking 4 or 5 hours, and it was because something weird about how it's processing and organizing the rendering. And so she's like, oh, what do you have? She's like, oh, I have the latest one, like, which is After Effects 2018. She's like, yeah, next time I'd ask you to do the update, just hold off on it for a few months before you even touch it. So it's like, she said that could possibly be it. I don't remember the last time I had it updated, which it had to be recent, obviously, because it says 2018.
Right.
So I'm just hoping maybe that's it. I'm just like, hopefully one day that 7 hours are turned into at least 3. Come on. Because 7 hours for a 3 minute video is insane. And I'll talk to Justice says, same, mine is terrible. Crashes when I use Twitch all the time. Oh man, yours is even worse. We both need to upgrade, man. We both need to upgrade.
Yeah.
But I would love
to simple with that.
Kind of like going off topic. I would love to know what you guys think about the 2 videos. Do you like having to see us in the 2 videos? Would you like just one?
Yeah.
I'd love to know what your thoughts. I would love to know your thoughts. So if anybody who's downloaded and listened to us, if you have the chance, you can visit us on YouTube. You can check out our past VODs there or on Twitch. And, let us know what you think. What layout do you prefer?
I think this one is growing on me. I think it is. It's different.
I can move the boxes closer, and then we can have like a Brady Bunch moment.
Nice.
And just like a little high five right there.
El Taco loves this layout. Yeah, I like this layout because I think what happens is you can see the expression when we're thinking about stuff, like even before. Okay, appreciate that. Appreciate it. So what's happening, it's if I'm thinking about something, you can see that real time and be like, okay, so what's going on? Okay. Prior to that, we can do that. We can see exactly when, we're really focused on hedging to say something about a particular topic. We didn't have that ability before. So I think this one allows the unsaid to actually be seen now more than ever.
Yeah, that's the sense that he's just got here, but he does like
Yoda
it.
today. What's up with this Yoda vibe? What's up with this Yoda vibe today?
I think it's a suit.
Very, very astute. Very astute today. Woo! Woo! All right, so that's what's going on with that. CES 2018. I didn't see a lot from CES 2018, but what I did see was a $30,000 Sony short throw projector. That was
Oh,
crazy.
is that it? Just thirty
Um,
thousand?
yeah, I think you were gonna buy it, right? You said that you were gonna go
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna go, remove a kidney and ask them if they do the fair trade.
Looking snazzy. Appreciate it, El Taco. Looking snazzy. Well, today, I wore the suit. I usually wear a suit anyway on Sundays, but Miss DJM is going to go get this 30K projector. Baller.
Yeah, just kidney, maybe a liver. I don't know. We're working out the paperwork here.
Working that out. That's what's going on with that. So I did see that. Also saw a couple of things with I don't want to say Google Home like too loud because the thing just you know goes crazy. So I am going to have a link in the show notes that talks about all the things that your Google Home can do, which is pretty dope. And because Google Assistant is on the phone now, I like being in the media room and just saying, "Hey G, play this on, media room," and it pops up on the TV. So I could do that with my phone. I don't necessarily need what's wrong?
Oh, it's just like it's funny. It's funny because it kind of seems like you're talking bad about somebody that's in a room. It's like I don't want to say Google Home too loud; they might hear
I
me.
can't.
But
I can't say it.
no,
I can't because if I say it, she goes crazy, right? So I'm not gonna
exactly.
do that.
That's what I mean. It's like you're talking bad about Google Home in your own room. She's like, she doesn't see
I'm
me,
not gonna
but you
do
know
that.
what?
I'm
I
not,
want her to hear me.
I don't want that to happen. I don't want that. I don't want that to happen because she's really sensitive. She's very sensitive. So that's what's going on there. So I'm gonna have a link in the show notes that talks about all the things that you can do with that device. Okay, so we're gonna do that. So HTC recently announced some exciting changes. Okay, I know you've been talking a lot about Vive and how awesome you said it is, and because you experienced it and it's really dope, and they're making changes, emphasizing resolution and a wireless adapter. So that's happening. Any comments on those things?
Oh man, I think the Vive is definitely going to be one of my next like higher price purchases. You know, after the 30K. But no, the Vive is just so amazing, and if they're going with that wireless adapter, oh man, I think that was like the only issue I had when I was playing with it. There was just some games where that's like the wire is long. It's great, but obviously it gets into the way. It gets in the way because you're moving everywhere and getting into the things that you still have to be a little bit mindful in the back of your head. Don't walk too far. Don't trip over this wire. Um, and if they do, I hope that I can afford to buy my own Vive and just play.
That's a
'Cause
thing.
I
You
really
really,
liked
you
it. I
really
really
like
did.
that thing.
I did. It was fun. It was so much fun.
That's
Man.
pretty dope. So a couple of things. A quick reminder: if you guys have any questions, even things that you're thinking about right now, while we're on, please feel free to ask. I definitely want to hit any questions that you guys have, any comments, any thoughts, anything while we're recording. So we have all that stuff in this podcast episode 385. That's where we're at. Okay, so the other thing that we did see, last but not least, in the technology section is Project Linda by Razer. What's up?
I
Try.
think
What up,
that
Try?
that Try says, speaking of tech, online shopping, videos, groceries, drones, maybe healthcare, and the owner is now the richest person in the world. So my question is Amazon Skynet? I need a heads up.
You need a heads up. I think you're already seeing the fact that, and that's interesting that you bring that up because I was just reading an article in New York Times in relation to Jeff Bezos, and one of the things that was interesting is that he wasn't always necessarily in the limelight per se, but now it seems like intentionally he's coming out in the limelight, whether it's taking pictures with people, whether it's talking about his Blue Origin, I think it's called the rocket project, right? And then he did the Whole Foods things not too long ago. There were some tax questions involving his business that he had to rearrange some laws and stuff with California, according to the article that I was reading. That happened with that, and so now it's all about being intentional about how you're going to project to the world. So if he is going to be part of what would be considered Skynet, because he's in pretty much any thing that we're dealing with right now. Okay, so when we're thinking shopping online, there's only one or two names that we're thinking about, and his name is part of that conversation. So I think that the heads up is we should be very, very concerned and or embrace the fact that Mr. Bezos is in our lives for good.
Yep, pretty much. I can't picture a future that doesn't have Amazon right now. So maybe Amazon is Skynet. Skynet is Amazon. I don't know.
Absolutely. I
But
don't
it's
mind
somewhere,
it.
it's somewhere.
They work. Just reset your password every quarter.
Is that record? Um, because
Make it help.
literally everything I buy is kind of like on Amazon. I'm starting to revert. And, I hate it though. I hate that I buy things on Amazon at the same time because
What do
you're
you mean?
closing. You're kind of you're shutting down people who are trying to open up their own business, their own brick and
No,
mortar
you're not.
business. I kind
No,
of
you're
feel that
not.
they are. Well,
No, you're not.
how are we not if we can find things cheaper on Amazon?
Well, hey, that's just part of the game, right?
I guess
You just got to do
supposedly.
better. You either price match or you lose the opportunity to get that sale.
But it's almost like it's harder for people who have a privately owned business to be able to price match something that's available online. Get alone. There's like still a lot of things that are on Amazon that I can buy that is still tax free with free shipping. How can a store beat that?
I'm with you if the market cared about your feelings.
Margaret doesn't care about my feelings. They know that I'm going to buy the cheaper thing because
Exactly, which is why a lot of the taxi stuff versus Uber, right? The Kodak situation versus Instagram, and you can go down the list of all these different companies that did not, move, weren't nimble enough to make decisions to compete, and they lost or losing. But Kodak, while I'm thinking about it, they have a pretty good app where I think it's like Kodak Reel or EEL or something like that, where it allows you to see films that are playing locally at a theater that may be an older film, and they have an app for that. So I may have to. You know what? Let me just put that down here in the show notes because I want to. Yeah,
Kodak.
because
I
Kodak
mean,
Reel or something like
yes,
that.
it is. Like I'm going to buy the cheaper product
Of course you
obviously
are.
because but I hate that I will because like I just I feel bad. I feel bad.
Why do
Atresan
you feel
says
bad? Why do you feel bad?
because there's actually really good hardworking people who are trying to open up their own business.
You're so nice.
It is. It's they
Don't
are.
ever change. Don't
Thank
ever
goodness.
change. Don't
It's
ever
a pain.
change.
But Atresan says the only time I buy stuff in a brick and mortar is when I need something right now and I still have to drive 45 minutes to get there.
Right?
Yeah, and that's a very true factor. Like if I need it now, yeah, I will buy it, and I will hate myself as I'm buying it because sometimes I don't know why I do this. If I'm going shopping, say I go to Walmart or I go to the Mac store or whatever it is, I will still go online and search how much it costs online, and then I sit there. I'm like, can I
At
wait
the
a few
store.
days? Yeah, can I wait a few days?
Right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
But there's still circumstances where I like that experience of being in a physical shop, a brick and mortar shop.
Mm.
And it's cuz it's just the people, the experience that you get over there. Like locally owned comic book video game shops.
Pretty dope.
Those are awesome because the people that work there because they love video games, they love comics, they love what they do, like they love the people that come in and interact with them. That's a great experience. Am I going to probably spend more on the game? Yeah, probably. But the people that work there, A plus. I love them.
Okay.
It's just
So
fun.
Since you're talking about comic book stuff, there's a spot that I used to go to. I still go to when I go back home. Bulletproof Comics, right? That is on, I believe that's a Nostrand Avenue and Avenue H, right? Back home. Uh, Area called the Junction. If you're ever in Brooklyn, look for Bulletproof Comics. What's up, Hank? How you feel? Hank is the dude in there. I love going in there, right? I love going in there, saying what's up to him, seeing his setup and stuff like that. And that place is like a staple for that culture in the area, right? Because you have McDonald's, and I think they have a BBQ place there that's been there for a couple of years now. Starbucks is around the corner. Never used to be a Starbucks there, but now whenever Starbucks moves in, you already know what's happening to that area. Then there's a coffee shop like not even a block away from that Starbucks competing, right? So the culture, whenever you see the comic book stuff, I love going there. But the thing is, Hank knows that his competition is not necessarily another comic book store that's local. He knows that.
Hmm.
So you have to make adjustments to either price or, great relationships, because if I have a great relationship with you, I'll most likely, come to the stop and buy where you're at or whatever. But he knows his online competition is fierce, especially with all the different subscription models that's happening with the comic book space, which you're in that space more than I. So you have more knowledge there, but it's competitive.
That's stressful. It is. I feel bad for them. Like, hey, because in Hawaii we don't have as many shops. We had one comic book shop, slash card shop, on the island, and the guy ran it for a long time, and he retired and he sold the shop, and the person who bought it just ran it right into the ground, and
Mm.
it had to close. So we don't even have one locally on island anymore. And the next closest one was on Oahu, which is one flight over, and it was like a 35 years going mom and pop's shop called Toys and Joys. And cute old couple, but they had like this huge like store that had everything. You had your manga, you had your comic books, you had your import games, you had your retro games, you had plushies, you had models, you had cosplay materials. It had everything that your geeky heart could desire. And they, for a long time, they were being, comparative to their online competitors, their competition. And what I loved about them, and I loved about the employees, like, even though I probably went to Toys and Joys once or twice a year, because that's how often I was in Oahu at that time, they would remember me. And they're like, hey, they'd see me like, hey, oh, remember the last time we were talking about this and you said you were looking for this? We ended up getting one in and we held it for you. We didn't know when you were going to come back. That's
Nice.
awesome. That is awesome customer service. That is a great way to build a relationship. But I'm not saying that every store is going to be able to do that, yet alone hold a product that they could possibly sell to anybody. But because they specifically remember me talking about it and not too many people come in, hey, we got you. Here it is. And I love that. I will happily keep giving my business to them. But the reason why they closed down is um, the mom and dad that owned the shop, they were getting older, they were getting up there, and they wanted to pass it on to their kids, but their kids didn't want to maintain that struggle. Their kids just like gave up because they saw what the competition was like, and it
Mm.
was too stressful for them, and they sold out their entire store and just let it go.
Crazy,
And
crazy.
their
What's
kids are awesome. Their kids are awesome. It's just it's they couldn't.
couldn't compete. You got to compete. What's El Taco? What is he talking
Like I
about in the
says, that happened
chats?
in my hometown in San Pedro. Picked up all my comics and Fleer Ultra cards from there from 91 to 95, and the shop was called Williams Bookstore. They closed down a few years ago. Altro-san says, The Great Escape is a similar place in Nashville. It's been there for over 40 plus years. 40 years. All kinds of entertainments and media, and they're still going strong. Aaron Shack,
Hmm.
hey there, Aaron.
What up,
Personalized
Aaron?
customer experiences. Yeah. Personalized customer experience you can never ever get rid of. It's awesome. It's a great feeling to be appreciated as a customer. You're not just like another dollar to them. I mean, kind of you are.
Absolutely.
You're helping them out, but they're giving more.
But you know that that takes work to be
Hmm.
that intentional about the customer service. Even though you know that it's business, it feels great, like you're saying.
Yeah, can't get that. You can't get that from Amazon. You can't get that from any online shop unless this online shop is ran by one person and they took a step up past their Etsy. And then like it's just that's all you
Right.
have left. But yeah, I love that experience, and it makes me feel bad because yeah, um, we don't have one here locally, but I still feel bad buying online.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting. All right, so Project Linda. I definitely want to hear Chat's thoughts about Project Linda, which is the laptop where you drop the phone in there and it becomes a trackpad for a Razer. Ms. DJM, what's up with that?
Razer's just taking over the world. No,
You think?
I've never actually tried out their laptops or computers or anything like that. Keyboards, yes. Mouse, I hate their mice. Um, I don't know. That's kind of cool. I kind of should have expected them to incorporate their phone into it somehow. Sorry,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I'm like looking at it.
Right.
It looks super sleek. I don't know about using the phone as a trackpad. I don't have experience with their Razer phone. It looks cool. It looks they have that insane display that is not available on any phone, which they say it's not a phone for gamers. I forgot their whole spiel about it. It's not a gaming phone like whatever that previous phone was. I just
Marketing speech.
yeah. I don't know. Like, what if they're forcing you? If you want to use this laptop and play with it, you kind of have to have our phone. Because if you don't have that
Yeah.
as a trackpad, what do you have? You just gonna hook up your mouse and keyboard? You're just a mouse to your keyboard.
What's it's an interesting concept, right? Like you're gonna buy the shell. Ghost in the shell is the I always wanted to use that for something. I always wanted to use that for something. But I like the fact that you're able to do that with this device because when I remember seeing the ratings for the actual phone, it did really, really well. Like people were saying, "Hey, this phone is a solid phone," and I think it's going to be the first phone to have. I think there were two things that the phone is going to have first. I'm trying to remember the specs on that. I don't know if it was like HDR and something special or DTS and something else. It was something where the phone is going to have these two things that is going to be a remarkable advancement for phones having these two things as a standard and the first phone to introduce it. I have to figure out what that was, but it was something in relation to that. But yeah, tell me more.
I it okay. So my other thing is, so you drop it in, you use it as this touchpad for your mouse capabilities, which is
Hmm.
cool. That is different. That is very, very different. They're thinking outside of the box there. They're trying to get you to enjoy their products and start incorporating them, kind of like how Apple did with their things. Like you can use your like their growth and where they went out to be, and basically there's some households that's probably all Apple owned, smart, and everything like that. And it's interesting to see Razer going, I guess, kind of that method of like, hey, you know that awesome phone with the 120 hertz display that you got? We also
Hmm.
got like this extra peripheral for you. Oh, new peripheral. What is it? A whole laptop.
A whole laptop.
and and that's pretty cool. And it looks really nice. The specs are pretty nice. I don't know though. And the thing is, I think what would be really
Not
cool, and
sold.
this is something that's really kind of minor to me in a way. I oh, never mind. It's right here. Enjoy Android games in the new ways with Project Linda. Connect a mouse for precise control and trigger actions quickly with the built-in keyboard. So are you telling me that I can play some mobile games if I dock it like that? I can play some mobile games on my Razer phone or my Razer laptop through my phone. I don't know.
Time
It's
will
weird.
tell.
Time
Time
will
will
tell.
tell.
But I see it
Okay,
has
so
great glory.
yeah,
Okay.
so the thing I wanted to mention because it sounded like I was saying kind of crazy that I didn't see anything that I was saying was really happening. The Razer phone is the first smartphone to support both Netflix HDR and 5.1 surround sound content. That's the thing I was referring to. So I wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, and I think too. Okay, so I have to look deeper into this because I didn't see the full breakdown. I'm sure there's more stuff that's in there. So when you dock your phone, that kind of also doubles as your laptop speakers,
Exactly.
and that's pretty cool. And again, what if you don't want to own the phone? What if that phone isn't on your service provider, but you want the laptop? Is there going to be an option where that's not in there, where you can just get your typical trackpad and speakers without the phone?
Okay, so the phone, I don't know if it's like an unlocked thing that you just buy for any provider. That would be great. That would be a great solution if they did it that way. But I don't know. I'm really excited about the phone. I don't know if I'm excited about the laptop experience like that because the only sync experience that I enjoy right now is the Google Sync cross ecosystem thing. I love that for the Chromecast and all that stuff. And the sync for I've really been using Firefox a lot lately, so
I
I'm
like how you
actually
still
moving off.
whisper when you say Google. Like I noticed, I was paying attention. Your voice got a little bit slower when you said Google.
I'm trying to play it safe. I'm trying to play it safe. But yeah, so that's pretty much the sync life right now. But the phone is really dope. Really dope.
The phone is really cool. And I was very interested in it, but it's not available on Verizon. Atro-san says, I don't like having two expensive electronics that are proprietary to each other, where one is required to have the other. That's very true. That's what I mean. I mean,
Hmm.
what if you don't want the phone when you just want the laptop? Because if you want the phone,
Right.
well, obviously you can just have the phone. You don't have to buy the laptop. But if it's the other way around, I'm, uh, I'm not a
Right.
fan of it. Like, there's no point of me owning. Again, I don't remember the providers that is available for the Razer because once I found out that I could not get it on Verizon, which is pretty much the best service that I have for this island here,
Hmm.
it was of no interest to me. It was like I can't get it. There's no point. But there's no point of me buying a laptop or buying this phone so I could get this laptop and I'm stuck on T-Mobile, which T-Mobile here is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I think there's one probably block, neighborhood block where T-Mobile is awesome, okay? That's it.
Oh man.
But I mean, I want to see. I still want to be able to see what that phone is like because it does have that 120 hertz display. It looks beautiful
Yes.
and it's so sleek. I love the way that it looks, and that's the one thing that Razer's always been good with, at least for me, because I like that black on black look with that little hint of that green, the Razer green.
Right.
I love that sleek look.
I think
So
that's
that
the
phone
the
is nice.
Robin phone, right? Because they had acquired them for, and then it went silent, and then they came out with that. The next bit, Robin. I think Razer had acquired them a while ago. That kind of a thing. I think that's where that whole phone being in the market for that came from. I think. Don't quote me on that, but it sounds right. But yeah, so that's what's going on with that project, Linda. That's exciting stuff, though. It's definitely exciting stuff. Any additional thoughts? Any follow ups on that?
I hope that they just go like if it doesn't go so well that people don't want to buy their laptops because they can't afford the phone or anything like that, that maybe they'll just, give that other option of like, okay, well, we heard you. You don't have to buy our
Hmm.
phone. Sorry.
Interesting stuff. All right, so a couple of things in entertainment news. IT has reached another major box office milestone, grossing 700.2 million worldwide. If that's your thing, Heart Sun still watching that, still enjoying that. That's the next thing from Neil Cross. Neil Cross, Luther. If you're familiar with that, Luther was really, really dope. And I think that this is a light, okay, in the midst of watching it now, it's a light version of what Luther is. which is still filming Luther, and even the character that played Alice. Did you ever watch Luther?
No.
Okay. I definitely want you to watch that, and I want to have I want to have a Luther episode, or at least a good portion of that, because I really want your thoughts on a lot of things that show. A
Okay.
lot.
Okay, well, I'm done with
A
my
lot.
Pretty Little Liars binge. I'm late to
Okay.
that party. Just I'm done. So I can
So I
start
think
another
Luther's
show.
still on Netflix. Luther's still on Netflix. He Idris Elba plays Luther. It's a great show. It's a moment of silence for Idris Elba.
How many seasons?
Give him a moment of silence for Idris. I think they're on 4 right now, maybe filming 5. And they're short. The episodes are about 55 minutes. They're, you know, not like 47 or anything like that, but the episodes are really, you get a good, you know, context of what's happening on a episode, which is really dope.
Okay. I'll watch
So
it.
yeah,
I'll watch it. Don't worry. I have the
I
day
would
off tomorrow.
love to hear your thoughts about it. I would even watch it again, just so we can roll through it, so I could be refreshed. I wonder if anybody in the chat watched Luther. Shout it out, chat. Shout it. Oh, yep. You have to. You have to check it out. One of my favorite shows to date. So that's what's going on there. IT. That's what's happening with IT. Hard Sun. Dope. I'm feeling it. Crime drama. That's your thing. George Clooney is coming back to TV for a new series thanks to Hulu. I think it's called Catch 22. Acts of Violence. Acts of Violence. Bruce Willis. I watched that. That was amazing. Daniela, that's available for you to watch. It's dope. That's a movie, not a series. Bruce Willis is still doing it. Amazing. Any comments on those things?
Man, you're just giving me this whole list of things to watch. I'm like,
It's a lot. It's a lot of good stuff. There's so many good things. There's some, but Bruce Willis Acts of Violence, because that's just a movie. That's not like a series. Luther is number 1. Try is a buddy of mine. Did I tell you that?
no.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy.
I've known him for a long time.
like 8 or 13 years long time. Because apparently I can't
13.
remember my Frenchman long years.
13 plus.
Oh my goodness.
At least 13 plus. At least 13 plus. That's bro. That's my bro right there. So shout outs to you, Try, and everybody in the chat. You know, do appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with us. We're changing stuff. We got a new look. We got these new frames now. You know, we're looking all snazzy. That thing is dope. So I'm really enjoying all that. A couple other things that I did see: Hulu and Blumhouse, the studio behind Get Out, Split, and The Purge, are partnering for a monthly horror anthology series. Do you care?
Of course I do. I just recently watched Get Out.
I didn't watch it
Yeah,
yet.
then I did, and it's
Is it racially infused?
yeah,
Oh, it is.
but in an interesting way. It wasn't in the way that I thought it would
Appreciate it.
be racially fused. I mean, obviously it is. You have this black man going into this like white
Is it
cult. I don't know
scary?
what it is. No, it's not scary. It's not
Appreciate it,
scary.
Aaron.
It's a thriller. It
Appreciate
is
the
a
love.
thriller, and it has a twist that I was not quite expecting. Like I thought.
Do people
I'm like, I know what
die?
that does.
People die. Anybody die?
Yeah. I'm not gonna say
a
who
lot?
though. Stop asking. Just watch it. But all I know is okay. This is bad. So I was watching it. I swear, I channel in my Filipino grandfather, and I am turning into one of those people who yell at the TV screen because I'm just thinking, what person is gonna do this? Like, no, you run, man. What are you doing?
Why are you yelling at the screen?
Because it's like this whole thing is like, don't do this, you should know better. And like the thing is, I don't want to offend anybody, and I don't know if I can, because I'll admit I can be ignorant and I cannot know, but I'm thinking like I'm sitting here thinking it's like no black man is gonna know that this is a good idea. If I don't care what other race you are, but if you're in a community and you just surrounded by a bunch of white people and then no, something's wrong here. Something is wrong here. And then they just making this weird thing and they only ask you about black celebrities, black like athletes. You're just like, no. And I can change that in. It's like if I was, if that guy was a Filipino guy or a Chinese guy or anything else,
Mm-hmm.
nah, man, get out of there. Get out. Your
What's up,
girlfriend and
that
the family
guy?
is done. Nope. Hey, what's up, Eddie?
What's up?
And
Do
I
you
do
drink
drink
tea?
tea. Yes, I do. I'm drinking a blueberry green tea right now with a little bit of honey
Sounds
in my Batman cup. But
I'm
that
gonna put
that's
some in
what
a
that's what I was
request.
doing. I was like, no, you shouldn't be doing that. It is really bad. Except my grandpa could watch the same movie probably 20 times and still yell at the person of like, don't go in that room. My grandpa's the same person who would be watching like Wheel of Fortune. He'd be yelling at the screen. So that's
I
turning
watch that
into
recently.
me.
Yeah. Huh. Mm-mm-mm.
But it was good.
Do you realize? I don't know if you realize you roll your R's when you say certain words.
I do. No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I noticed that because when you said San Pedro, you didn't say San Pedro, you rolled it. So now you're not gonna say it because I know it's kind of like awkward now. Ooh, it's
San
awkward
Pedro?
moment now. See, see, just like that, just like that. That's what's going on with that. Sylvester Stallone, Expendables 4. Any comments on that?
I love Expendables. I do.
Okay.
I love those classic like action movies. I do. Especially Sylvester Stallone. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
See, I need
I
to
don't
watch
know.
Get Out now. Not all these comments that you guys are making in the chat. I need to see
And
that.
I'm terrible with movie quotes and lines. I swear I don't know what it is and I'm not trying to be sexist here, but I think the entire male population is like A plus at being able to have conversations of just using movie quotes. And to me, they all go over my head. Like, no.
Well, a wise man says, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Okay, I know that one because that's Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Okay. But you know that one. Okay. Very good. Very good. Favorite movie of all time for me. Stars and Lionsgates are developing a John Wick TV series titled The Continental. Stars announced at the Television Critics Association Winter 2018 press tour. Any comments on that?
Yay! John Wick is a great
Yeah.
movie. Yeah. I want,
Side by side. It's not going to be. It's not going to interfere with the storyline for the John Wick films, and we do not know what Keanu Reeves is going to play, what his casting is going to be yet.
it'd be great if they got him, but I can understand why they wouldn't or couldn't.
Word. Yeah, it should be exciting. Should be exciting stuff. Deadpool, times move. I know you're excited about the announcements. May 18 rather than June 1st.
That's
Krypton.
great. I'm used to them pushing back dates, and
Yeah,
this one they're
they
just
moved it
bringing
up.
it in closer. Maybe they listen to the podcast and be like, "Look, she really hates when we put things too far ahead. Let's bring it in 2 weeks more."
Exactly. 3 years is not exciting. That's that's something that we're not doing anymore. Krypton teaser trailer was really dope. What'd you think about that?
I didn't get to watch a trailer yet, but I was told
Okay.
it was really good. I didn't want any spoilers. I need to watch it still.
Okay, so I won't spoil it, but it's really good. Mario movie still a thing, according to the Nintendo president. That was in a Japanese newspaper. What are you happy about, El Taco? What were we talking about? The Krypton one or the Deadpool? Let me know. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. Marvel Studios is reportedly moving forward with a standalone Black Widow movie. That's a thing. And Black Panther sets a new Fandango record as a top-selling MCU film. in the first 24 hours of ticket sales, pre-sales. Any comments on that?
Oh,
Deadpool got
comments
it.
on all of them. So first of all,
Sweet.
that Mario movie, if it is like anywhere close to what the Mario Brothers movie was with John Leguizamo,
Hmm.
I, ugh, I might be so mad about that. I am sure so many other people will be mad about that. Please don't. I just want it to be good. I don't mind Mario
Okay.
movie. Just like that cheese fest or whatever it was with John Leguizamo. No. No. Even as a kid, I didn't even like that movie. And this is coming from the girl that liked the movie that had Whoopi Goldberg working with a dinosaur as a cop. And I like that one, but I did not like the Mario movie. You look confused.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg and a dinosaur. I don't remember the name of the
I'm working
movie,
through it. I'm working through it.
but I
We'll
liked
figure it
that
out.
one and I hated that movie.
You see,
So
I see, and that's the thing we were talking about. We wouldn't see these things because we had the screens go back and forth, so you wouldn't see these weird expressions that I'm making. Try
they,
not to make them, but it's just making them all animated now. DC stuff, I'm with you. El Taco definitely want to catch up on a lot of DC stuff. But there's a lot of stuff on Netflix that I have not checked out yet, especially Gotham. And I'm hearing a lot of good stuff about Gotham. And then the Krypton thing, you're going to be really excited when you see that, Miss DJM. That's exciting stuff. So I'm looking forward to all the things that we're going to be able to enjoy. The old Mario, they can, do away with that. Black Panther. What are you thinking about that?
I wish Fandango, um, the movie theater that we have here, they were associated together. Our movie theater is
Mm-hmm.
really old school, so they don't use any of those online services whatsoever. But I would be in there to be buying tickets for Black Panther. That movie I feel is going to top all of them for both Marvel and DC, and it's already showing that before it even came out.
Yeah.
So, and I don't even think it's the mentality of we're overhyping it, and then all of a sudden you watch it and it's not going to be that great. I believe that hype, that excitement, is going to carry on throughout the entire thing. So,
Yeah.
looking forward to that. Is that something that you're going to actually take the time to go watch in theater?
Miss DJM.
Yes.
It's the blackest movie of all time. Of course I'm gonna go watch it. I mean, like, if I don't watch it, it's like it's almost sinful. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things that you just have to do. Like, but yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to it, for sure. That is definitely I'm leaning towards leaving my house for this one. It's a rare occasion. So I'm gonna do that, for this movie. We're being very rare today. What's wrong with me? I got issues. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that. I'm definitely excited for Black Panther and all that stuff that's happening. Some good movies coming out. Even some of the movies that are going straight to like, Blu-ray stuff. There's some good stuff coming out, right now. So, keep an eye. If you're a crime drama person, suspense thriller person, pure drama person, documentary person. There's a lot of good stuff right now. That's the point of that. So ESA, a lot of 45 talks lately. A lot of 45 talks. I don't know. Okay, so starting this conversation, I definitely want to say, for those who do not know, mother, father's Haitian. That makes me Haitian American because I was born here, right? So when I see comments like that from Mr. 45, they're, and not just, for Haiti, but for the other countries and territories represented. It's a sad thing, to see where we're at with the conversation that happens from a leadership that's supposed to be, representing this wonderful nation, my fellow Americans. I'm sorry. All right, Miss EJ, I'm done. All right, go ahead. Talk to me. What's up? ESA, comments about that.
I I don't even know where to begin with any of that. I don't
I know
get
where.
it.
I know where. I know
Where?
where. At the beginning.
Oh my god. It It leaves me speechless, really. Okay, it really does.
Okay.
I don't care if I'm starting
right.
the beginning, the middle, or the end. It leaves me speechless because I don't understand how there's people can still defend it. He just doesn't see the wrong in it.
They're trying to defend it, right? Still.
Yeah, continuously, and then he lies constantly.
Yeah.
And again, you go ahead and send me all the hate mail and tweets and everything you want. I'm a Democrat.
Don't send Missy Jam any hate mail.
I
Don't
don't,
do that.
and I don't get into those political arguments, but the man's racist. That's it. That's it. I don't care how you cut it, how you want to justify it, how you want to twist it in your mind. The man is racist. You don't. I'm angry.
You're angry. Okay, so next up, video game news.
How do you want to approach that one? What do you have to say? I want to know your thoughts.
Okay, so my thoughts. It's we should not be surprised. We allowed ourselves to get in this state, especially with the presidency and the individuals who happen to be there. It's an interesting thing, right? If it goes back to what we were saying in the beginning, if somebody shows you who they are, you have to believe them, and if you don't, you're fooling yourself. And that's pretty much what happened with the whole individuals who were with his camp, and when they saw exactly all the things that he's been doing for the first 100 days or whatever, like, well, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe you made a mistake. You didn't see like that way before that, so that whole thing. So I try not to get very over emotional about things like that, because he doesn't understand to some degree. And I may be maybe hedging here, maybe I may be saying, I don't know, something that may be out of pocket, but let's roll with it. If you understand the history of some of these countries and territories that you're talking about, you would never say stuff like that. I think that's fair. Chat, I think that's fair. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's where I'm at with it. Understanding the history of how people overcame things, for including Haiti, not just them, but every other territory that had to go through something to get to where they are today. Whatever that was for them, that is part of their history, that's written in books that we read about, iconic figures, you name it. You got to respect that. You just have to respect it. And I think that's where I'm at with it. It's a lack of understanding. It's blatant ignorance. It's a lot of pride. I mean, come on, you're the president of the United States. You know what I mean? Like, you are the what's the title? You are the highest position. I don't know what the presidency for the U.S. is. The biggest position you can have in the world, right?
Chief and commander.
It's the big one. No, not the commander in chief title. Just like when they look at that position around the world, that's a big thing. Like, you're
speaking for these people.
Right. Right. You're the ruler of the free world, right? That's what they call it. Something like that. They have all these sayings that they have for the presidency. So you guys help me out in the chat. But I think that's one of them.
I just want to read what the ESA said, because I think it was pretty well worded and very, very straightforward. And
absolutely.
The ESA says, America's greatness is built on our diversity. The president's repulsive comments undermine the fundamental values of who we are as a country. There is no place in our society for this type of backward thinking, and we condemn it in the strongest terms.
Word. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Yeah. So it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So I don't want you to be angry. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about video games.
We didn't even get to that section yet. Video games.
This has been a great show. We have not talked about video games yet. Video games. Yay! We're here, ladies and gentlemen. We made it. Sony selling 5.9 million units worldwide during the holiday season. That's actually lower than last year around this time. 6.2 million consoles last year around this time, and they're still doing it. The company says that this puts the system's total worldwide sales at 73.6 million units. Is anybody surprised at this point, Miss DJM chat? Is
No.
anybody surprised that Sony's doing? Nobody, right? I don't think. Everybody's
isn't.
good, right?
I think so.
Okay.
They should be. I mean, you should go get it. You should go get a PlayStation. If you don't have a PlayStation, you should go get a PlayStation.
You should get one. It's real good. Individuals that I thought would never consider PlayStation as a PlayStation and considering to buy a PlayStation. So it's been a good system. I still enjoy it today. Twitch has secured the exclusive rights to live stream stuff for Overwatch. That's 90 million for first 2 seasons. Surprising?
No, actually not. I'm not. Twitch is just the best platform to be able to stream all those things on. It has the biggest audience. It only makes sense.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing their thing. All right, so a couple of things I definitely want to mention while thinking about it. Yeah, dope exclusives for sure. PS4 is really doing it. They're selling well because of the games that they have for sure. So, yeah, if you don't have a PlayStation, you should. Not because that's the only system I have, you know. The Xbox is dope too.
So I had to go quickly look through this. So you didn't see it on. It's not on our notes, but we'll add it onto our notes. So for those who prefer the Xbox controller, and that's why you're not picking up the PS4, let you know, Hori is releasing a PS4 controller for people who prefer the Xbox controller.
What?
Yeah.
Yo, I need that. Link me.
That will be in the show notes. It is a PS4 controller that's styled after the Xbox layout and everying. So if you're holding off because you don't like the PS4 controller, I love the PS4 controller, and you prefer the Xbox layout and feel and everything like that, Hori got your back. So
okay. So then the only adjustment for you would be the analog sticks, because scuff is pretty, the impact is pretty Xbox-y, if you want to say that. Mm-hmm. Right? Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't really care for the Xbox controller. I never did. From the very first one.
How do you spell that?
H-O-R-I.
Yeah. No, go ahead, talk to me.
So from the very
H-O-R-I.
Yeah, from the very first Xbox ever owned, the original one. You know, when they had that behemoth of a controller that I felt like took 4 hands to carry that thing down to like the little slim
goodness.
one.
Oh my goodness, I'm getting so excited. Officially licensed by PlayStation. Well,
So that's happening, just to let you know.
Oh man. That's exciting.
But here's another interesting question. Would you buy a console just because they're finally coming out with a controller that you prefer?
According to some people, I don't buy anything.
Okay. Never
That's the
mind
word
then.
on the street, apparently. That's the word on the street, apparently. But no, I would just want the accessory that, speaks to me. So if this Ori thing looks like, even if it's just to have it as a collector's item, I think that I'd want it.
It's nice still. I mean, yeah, I posted the link, so we'll include that in our show notes talking about it. Aaron Shack, we did see the Duke. I think Hyperkin has the Duke, right? We talked to those guys over there when we were at E3 last year. Really nice looking controller. It has that display in the center. It looked pretty sick.
Oh,
still too big for me. Still too big for my hands. But
this
nice.
controller's so dope. Oh my
goodness. Look at you. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go and buy this or not buy this.
I think I still have their card. I have to reach out and be like, hey,
I saw your
Worry.
controller.
Namaste. Something. Something. I got to tell him something. All right. Yeah. So that's what's going on with that. Xbox One update. Before I do the Xbox One update, as I just skipped something I want to go back to, the PUBG. PUBG. 3 million players on Xbox One in less than a month. I know you play PUBG on a regular basis, pretty regular than I do,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know it's a dope game. I don't have anything bad to say about PUBG. I know they had the 1.0 update, which was very recent. Shout outs and props to them. And they're making the adjustments that they need to make for the Xbox One platform. I dig it. That's what they're doing. They're doing their thing. I respect it. 3 million players on Xbox One. Are we impressed by that?
I am
That's the
impressed.
question I have right now.
I
Okay.
am. I'm impressed.
Fair
I,
enough.
I think it's great because it's a fun game and I love it on
Fair enough.
PC. I tried it on
Okay.
Xbox, did not like it on Xbox. And that's because I'm a little bit spoiled because I'm so used to the smoothness and the controls and everything. I'm playing it on PC, even though the PC version was not smooth, it wasn't perfect. Playing it on Xbox was super painful and super laggy. What I
Mm-hmm.
did love about it, and it's funny because I've been playing PUBG since it came out last March, I think, February or March. I saw it for the first time at TwitchCon in 2016, I believe it was.
Mm.
And so you have all of these console players who are new to it. They probably never really watch anybody stream it because they figure a lot of people who play consoles, they don't really care for those PC only games so much. But it's funny to watch people stream it or play it because there's certain habits that you pick up when you're playing on PC. Like you're not gonna stand over somebody's dead crate to loot it. You're gonna be moving around because if you stay still too long and people heard your gunshots, you probably have somebody out in the distance lining you up with their CARC or their SKS. So you really don't want to move around, let alone just stand there stagnant. And you see these people just standing there. And then on top of that, you don't have to actually look down at the crate to observe it. You can actually bring up the inventory list without having to look down. But here you are, you have like
Okay.
these
I
characters
have a
that are
question.
just
What do you
pointing
mean?
down.
What do you mean by observe it? Can you explain that to me? What do you mean by observe
You
it?
can open up the inventory and look at what's inside that crate or what's on the ground without
Got it.
having to face down and look and have like the little icon pop up of like, here, press this to pick up, press this to pick up. And you just see these people, these like characters who are just standing straight up, still, with their guns all the way down like this. And it's like, you're such a free kill right now.
Right. Right.
Like it's done. And it's funny because the first game that I played, I thank you to Astros and these awesome headsets that I was wearing for them so you can hear everything. I'm like running. I'm like, okay. I'm like running up behind this guy and I hear these footsteps behind me and I turn around and I don't think that guy was prepared for me to notice he was there because it's like he's running, I turn and he just stops. And he's like, "Oh my god." And then like you can see the panic shooting that he was probably doing and he was done.
Mm.
And I'm like, this is so cute and adorable you guys playing this game. Because I already have my natural things that I will do, and I will carry it on into console, even though it's with a controller. It was a very interesting thing for me to adapt, playing from keyboard and moving it to the controller. It's not as intuitive and as easy as I would like it to have been in the transition thing. It's just super weird, but on top of that, it's like everybody that was new to PUBG in the beginning on PC, they got out of that habit of just camping inside buildings. I mean, yeah, you still have people who camp inside the little wizard towers and stuff, but it's not so much that they're camping anymore in these buildings. They're going out there, they're doing these things, and you have the console players who're still trying to familiarize themselves with the games, even like 2-3 months out here, who are like scared to leave the building. They're just like
So
they're
what's the
sitting
best
there.
what's the tips that you strategy that you see working for you now when you're playing the game?
Um, Sorry about that. I don't stay in an area for too long. I really don't. I already go in knowing the orders. I have my favorite guns in the list that I will pick up and I will grab. And I will always be there to instantly get an M4 and a mini if I can. And I loot up what I need and I leave the area. I hear gunshots. I don't immediately run to the area. I'll start making my way there. But if it's in a populated area, I know there's going to be people like, ooh, gunshots, I'm going to go. I will say I will play cleanup. Because you know that there's going to be people, there's obviously going to be at least two teams are fighting. One team or one person is going to win that. That person's going to probably think that they're safe, start looting, and then you have people coming in because they heard that. They know that either you're hurt and you're healing and you're picking up the loot or whatever it is. I will play cleanup. So I will take my time to get there, to let everybody else like do whatever it is that they're doing, because I know by the time I get there, if there's just one or two people there, they probably went through some first aids already. And I'm still fresh. I'm still good. On top of that, I just immediately know what I want to pick up and what I need and what I don't need. And that just takes time of familiarizing yourself with the weapons and the attachments that are available. And then I kind of just don't sit in a building for too long. I really don't. I don't run into the circle immediately. I'll wait. I will try to get the circle advantage, in which I'm on the side of the circle if I can that closes up the slowest, because that side I know I will have the most amount of time. And I don't necessarily camp the edge of the circle too. I think that's good for really cheap kills for people who are just super late getting in. But I'm just always moving. Just don't stay still. Don't stay stagnant. When it comes to the end game stuff,
End game meaning when the
end
circle's
game
closing,
probably,
or
yeah. Well, more of when it's in a top 10 situation. In top 10 situation, I will probably drop my backpack. And the only reason why I won't carry my backpack anymore, it makes me an easier target to see. And I will carry the bare gun that I have and maybe one first aid. Because in that top 10 situation, when you start getting to the top 5, you're not going to be given the time or enough time to use a first aid or a med kit, because that's a lot of time. And then it's just, I only really need one or two if I can carry it. I only need the inventory space that's basically on me. And if I'm lucky, I have my M4 and my mini. The mini is like this very pretty, it's a pretty precise sniper rifle. And I love the way that it sounds. And I get my most kills there. I'm terrible with the Kark. And I'm terrible with the SKS. Kind of it. Awesome.
a couple of things. A couple of things in the all right, so solo new controller. I think I did see that. Yeah, that controller is really, really dope. I'm looking forward to that. On paper, it wasn't a game I should like, but now that I've played it, I enjoy it. Seems to run better on Xbox One X, but still buggy. That's still a thing? That's still a conversation? That's what's going on there. Always awesome to get trapped in a wall because it's like rendering. So, yeah,
What?
so that's so PUBG.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's going on. The chats are doing what chats does. I appreciate it though. I appreciate the carnival and the context.
Yeah,
in
the
chat,
Xbox,
for sure.
the Xbox One, it's still buggy. It's still laggy. Even and it's still kind of laggy on PC. It's definitely smoothed out a lot more, but still got its issues. It's nowhere as smooth as like Fortnite. It really isn't. I don't think I will really play it on console as much. I didn't like it. And you can say the PC Master Race, and I can be a snob about it. It just runs a bit better. It has a better frame rate on PC. And then that's kind of it. And I'll talk to Juice. You never thought about dropping the backpack? Yeah, I did, because you really don't need all that inventory space when it comes to endgame. You really, really don't. Just hit your shots. And I think I'm count. I mean, whatever you have on you, you're kind of good with. If I don't even necessarily carry a second weapon. If I don't have a mini iron, I kind of don't even really need a sniper rifle when it comes to top 10 situations because the area is so tight. If I have a 2 times or a 4 times scope to put on my AR, I'll stick with that.
Hmm. PUBG talk.
Yeah.
Word. So all right. So good stuff. Good stuff on that front. I definitely want to touch on real quick with a Cody slash VLC conversation. So Cody right now, last time I checked, because I think there was an update that was released maybe in the last 24 hours, that it was an alpha last time I checked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with the alpha thing, you know, based on the last conversation we had in episode 384, you can really do much. It was very pretty, but you can do a lot of things. So, you know, I decided to install the VLC beta on Xbox, which you can get right now. It's there. VLC is there. And I installed it, and I was able to do some stuff on the network to see, you know, the other machines connected and play some music through the network to the actual Xbox using VLC beta. That was cool. Even streamed some of my video content through the network to the Xbox. That was cool with the beta. So I don't know exactly what update they recently did for the Kodi, but hopefully it's something that's a little bit more because, as we touched on previous episode, you really can't do much right now. As powerful as we know Kodi can be, you know, depending on how you're using it. Kodi in and of itself is not any legal program. It's once you install the actual things on it that makes it an illegal program, that kind of a thing. So I don't know. So I'm still up in the air about that in regards to how much attention I'm going to be paying to Kodi right now, but I'm excited that it's here. That's the other side. So I'm hopeful that they're going to get it to a place where it's going to be beta to the point where it's going to be a solid program that we can use on a regular basis for our Xbox platform, that kind of a thing. So I'm hopeful. VLC beta is decent. You know, it's even good on the phone. If you need an app on the phone, Kodi is great on any other platform that is not the Xbox at this stage in the game, but I believe that it will get better.
I'm still not going to download it. So all the updates, all the Kodi updates and everything is going to come with you. I don't know. It doesn't really speak to me. I don't find it necessary for me. I don't need that option. So, I mean, I already have Kodi on my Fire TV. I don't need it in multiple places. I don't know.
Okay.
And on top of that, I don't even know the last time I turned on my Xbox. So.
Okay. Fair enough. They're doing updates. The recent update is a Do Not Disturb update. That's interesting to see that they're adding that. For me, Do Not Disturb is I'm offline, so you don't see that I'm on. That's Do Not Disturb for me. So I should say, well, and context for PlayStation, I go offline. Like if I don't need to have any conversation with anybody, then I just go offline. So Do Not Disturb is interesting. So I don't know.
I think I would just always leave that on. But I don't have that problem. I'm not that popular that I'm gonna get like hit up with party chats like, "Hey, you're on." I remember there was a one point.
You're that popular.
No, there was one point. There was one point where like the moment I turned on my Xbox, party invite, game invite, let's do this. What are you doing? What are you playing?
Yeah,
I'm like,
because you're
bro,
popular.
I just want to watch Netflix. Leave me alone.
No, they want to have a conversation with you. DJM, she's on. Hey, DJM.
No.
What's up? You don't want to do that?
I don't have that problem anymore, though. But then again, I don't turn on my Xbox.
Okay, so before we forget, I definitely want to add this while I'm thinking about it. Shout outs to Shure for sending us the Shure microphones, the MV51s, right? So we're not using it in this episode. I want to use it in an upcoming episode. I think that I want to look into getting a stand for it because you see how it sits low? You know what I mean? It'll be on the table. That's not Shure's problem. That's mine because I need to elevate the mic to here. But the mic is solid. DJ, talk
Okay,
about the mic real
so
quick.
talking about the mic. Okay, so okay, maybe Andrew's not using it. I am using it actually right now. I know I have this. I have my Yeti. I'm using that for the stream. So that I'm sorry, stream. This is what you are getting to hear me on. But for anybody who is actually downloading and listening to the podcast right now, I am actually using the Shure mic. I am.
Is it on? Is it sitting on the table?
No, I used the box that
Like
they
how do
gave.
you? Oh, so, so you
I used
propped
the
it
box.
up.
Yeah, I did. I propped it up. So it's
Okay.
like it's sitting on top of the box right here. So I am
Yeah, it
using
needs to
it.
be. It needs to be
This
propped up.
thing is I want to test it out. I want to try it and I want to see the difference if I use it for my regular stream. And have you you know that the little thing on the back of it actually twists off, right?
That's
So
where you do the stand thing. I think that's where you
yeah,
take
so
that off
this
and then put the
this little
stand on.
thing comes off, and the adapter in there actually fits perfectly for mine. I'm moving like the mic around, so sorry if you guys come up loud. I honestly don't know like the weight of it. That's the only thing. So it can attach to my scissor mic that I have, or mic boops down here that I have, but it is so heavy that I'm not sure. I'm like, I've never had something this heavy to be held on here. Which the Yeti mic is pretty solid itself. It's bigger, but it does not weigh as much as a Shure mic. I feel like I can knock somebody out with this mic.
I think you can.
Not that I
It's
would.
that heavy.
Not that I would. But it is like I am pretty sure that I can use this to defend myself in the event that somebody broke into my apartment.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's a solid device. It's crazy.
And they'll probably sound really good if I was recording it too. I'm kidding. Okay. That's really not so sorry.
Well, all right, Miss DJ, where are we going with this? But no, it's definitely dope. It's definitely dope. I'm looking forward to doing testing with it. I think that there was so much excitement going on in the last couple of days. I didn't want to rush to process, so I may have to prop mine up on the box too, just to get a good angle at the mic itself. But Shure is doing their thing. Definitely appreciate it. We'll have them for a little bit, and we'll test out and talk about them here and there, depending on the conversation, what's happening. But I definitely wanted to mention that so we didn't forget. So
Yeah,
that is
it's
in
really
there
nice. I like it.
for sure. That's in there. The original Xbox, the Duke we talked about, that's being revived. That returns in March. Sea of Thieves closed beta coming 24th to the 29th of January. Puzzle Fighters getting an update next week. Look for that if that's your thing. Street Fighter, I think I had a Street Fighter thing in there. Street Fighter Play Sakura. That's going to be January 16th through the 23rd. Cyberpunk 2077. That's still a thing, apparently. Missy Jam. Any comments on those
It's
things?
taken a while to get here too. I like their tweet. Their tweet is just like beep. We're still alive. Don't forget about us. Beep. That's it.
It's a long time. Last thing they showed, I think they mentioned it was what, 2013 they showed something?
Oh man,
Long
has it
time
really
ago.
been that long? Man. All
2013.
right. I'm still looking forward to it, but I guess I need those reminders. I'm like, oh, right. You're still coming because you wait too long. Take a note from Deadpool. Come sooner. They know that I don't like waiting.
Yeah, moved the date up for sure. So that's what's going on with that. Super Meat Boy, one of my favorite platformers to date on Switch. I think they added a 2-player race mode. A Dark Souls trilogy box set has been announced for PS4 in Japan with a host of additional content. So look for that. That's upcoming. Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on March 20th. Any comments on those things?
Well, I think the Dark Souls thing is cool. There's a lot of fans that I know. Dark Souls just is not my game. It really isn't. Because I don't have that patience. I get so furious. But the one thing that I do love are their damn advertisements. And because like the one that I saw, it's that I don't know what the dance is, and I probably should play the game. But it's the one where they like this.
I gotta watch the video back to see that.
Please don't.
I'm
But,
counting
like,
the timer. This was done at 10:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'll go back and look.
It's just I love that little dance because like this, and then you have that one guy who's like this, and it's just like, man, I want homies like that and just run up dancing like so excited. And their ads get me because I love watching their ads for it. I love watching those really silly dumb videos about it. I don't know. But for $40, it's pretty awesome.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Dark Souls, Assassin's Creed, your thing?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay.
Sometimes. Not all of their series. No. I do have their last ones. What was it? Origins? Still gotta play through that. I got that during the holiday break.
The Egyptian one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Origins, right?
Origins. Yeah.
Bad with names.
Yeah, I heard it. It's a really good game.
It looks nice. I heard it was very like it was just very beautiful. That was it. That was like the huge thing because I didn't want spoilers. But everybody's telling me it's a beautiful game. It's a lot of fun, great story. So I'm just working on my backlog. That is my goal for this year. Backlog.
How many you have in there?
Do you want to see what's ridiculous?
What's the number now? What are we up
I
to?
don't know
Origins
what
is
we're up
amazing,
to.
says Aaron.
I don't.
600? What are you at? 450?
No. You want to see you want to see the stack that's currently sitting next to me as a reminder of no more games. This is what you're working on.
All right, let me switch my window so I could. All right, go ahead. Show the stacks. Stacks on stacks. What do we have? Miss DJM is getting ready to show you how many games she bought in the holiday of 2017. Woo! That's crazy. That you need prayer. You really do. I gotta pray for you. That's crazy. Okay, so you guys should never talk about me again.
That is what I'm working with. That's my backlog. That's part of my backlog. But
that's insane.
That is sitting next to me.
Your hands this.
So that sits next to me to remind me.
Oh my god.
No more games. You work on this first. Cuz you're grounded from buying any more.
You're grounded. You're absolutely grounded. That's just crazy.
That's my backlog.
You look like there's some good content in there, for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm working on it. We're making a dent. I'm starting. What's funny because most of them are blue, so you can tell I really prefer my PS4. I think I have like maybe 4 or 5 Xbox games. Rob says that. Rob told me earlier. He's like, "Hey, you should send them my way, and I'll finish them for you."
Yeah, right. I'll tell you all about it. Give you the snippets of how dope your
I want a 5-page report. Key point.
5-page report. Everything that you learn about the game, please. Okay, so a couple things going on in regards to accusations in the space. You know, if you're familiar with Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human, according to some reports, late reports that have been coming out apparently, is that the studio has some allegations against it that it's unhealthy. There's a unhealthy culture with Quantic Dream, you know, developer of Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and those games. And I think when I was reading the article, translating it, it was saying something like, 60+ hour work weeks. The environment was, not conducive to work. That kind of conversation and content. And it's interesting that it's coming out. It's interesting that it's coming out, period. But it's interesting it's coming out with all these different outlets. It's like the snowball effect is happening. And I don't know, what that as far as the posting in the actual show notes, but I don't even know what to do with it. I guess that's really my point with it. I don't know what to do with this. 60+ hour work weeks, you're working for a studio for a game that's going to be absolutely amazing, with 1,000+ permutations of of different things that you can do in Detroit. I think something like that, Become Human. I think those are some of the stats. But if the environment is questionable, um, you've known that for some time, and I think some individuals act on that quickly and some do not. So I don't know where to go with that. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that before.
Do other countries have different rules and laws and regulations as far as work environments as compared to obviously the US, because the US is the only place I have experience? I mean,
My
I
answer
don't.
to that, the safe answer, is I don't know. But if they do, I think that every company has orientation. Actually, company. I think that's a safe answer, right? Uh, so allegations and if it's a catcalling situation or all those different things that men do towards women, men do towards men, women do towards women, because it's not just one group anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we always look at it as one group, so we have to look at this thing as wide as possible, right? So it is, you know these conditions, you report it when you need to report it, and it's not a joke, it's not a laughing matter when these conversations come up, which is why I really don't know what to do with it. you know I know that some individuals will look at that and be like, hey, because of, I knew that I wasn't going to necessarily invest my time and energy and money to get the next game coming out from Quantic Dreams anyway, so this just validates my feelings about it going into the next round of what game I'm going to purchase. So I don't know. I don't know.
I think just in video games in general, I've always it's not that it's acceptable, but I almost feel like it was kind of almost a normal thing to hear about really poor working conditions, long hours, tight schedules. I almost feel like that became the norm of that industry when it shouldn't have been. Like at some point, it just got to be like employees were okay with it, and maybe they just reached the point where like, okay, let's stop. We went so many years of this being the norm, we can't anymore because it's not healthy. There's,
Right.
I mean, I've worked 60-hour work weeks. I've worked 70-hour work weeks. It's not fun, and to do that consistently, oh
Mm.
man, that's no life to live. Even if it is deadlines, and even if it's not, it's only until like, hey, it's only until we meet this quota of X amount levels or designs or whatever it is that's made. It's unhappy employees make an unhappy product.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think your backlog should become like a verb.
Why?
I think we should do that because because you were like this. So somebody say, "Hey, you're gonna play that game?" No, I'm gonna DJ. What does that mean? Just just do this. Have it become a verb or something like that.
Don't pull a
But
DJ.
don't pull a DJ. Like, how many months do you want to go? I'm DJing it a year, a year. So I don't know. We'll roll with it. But yeah. So that's an interesting conversation. I'm looking forward to seeing what the studio is going to do. Like one of the most impactful YouTube clips that I've ever watched was Kara, the video. We talked about that in previous episodes, and even still today, when I was watching that trailer, I'm like, that is amazing how they took this android and she, for the context of what we're talking about, became alive and self-aware. She was more self-aware. No, okay, I feel like that conversation is making a wrong turn, so I'll stop. So I'll stop. I just felt it. Woo! I felt it taking a wrong turn. Let me stop. Okay, so yeah, so I'm definitely excited for Detroit Become Human. That looks like it's really dope. I've still have yet to play Heavy Rain. I heard that was good.
It is good.
I heard that was good.
Very, very good.
Um, so that's what's going on there. So 343 Industries, right?
Hmm.
We've known them to make some dope games, right? Dope games. And there's games that we're waiting to hear from them that we're not necessarily hearing any thoughts about. But when you do blanket statements as it relates to what you're planning to announce, but you're not really announcing anything, that, you know, it sparks conversation, but it doesn't lead to anything. Right. So recently on their blog, community manager CM wrote, 2018 has arrived, and with it, comma, the promise of new fun times to be had and adventures to be embarked on. Period. No, not those adventures. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? That's irritating.
I wish I had that kind of power.
What's irritating?
You're like to be able to say something like that and to just leave people hanging like, what do you mean? What adventures?
What is
Halo
that?
adventures? No Halo adventures?
Well, I mean, immediately you think it's the next addition to the game that you do really, really well. But it's not those adventures, so it's not the game. So what would you bring that I would be excited about? Another remake of what? Really? Chat, I need help. I don't know. What would you bring to the table now? Okay, so I know Halo 5 got a bad rap, and I was just having this conversation with Try maybe a couple of weeks ago. But the multiplayer for Halo 5, the multiplayer for 343 Industries, period, is probably one of the solid multiplayers that you can play outside of the Destinies and the Call of Duties. That is still a solid multiplayer component, whether you're playing Griffball or you're playing, you know, Slayer or anything like that. But I don't know. I don't need another remake from 343.
Well, when he says no, not that adventure, it makes me feel like it's a new game.
Yeah,
Because
and
they gotta know that when you hear 343, you're automatically gonna think Halo.
right.
So maybe something new. Halo Battle Royale, since everybody else is doing it.
Why'd you do that? You just turned me off. This podcast is over. I'm turned off. Why would you say that? It's so mean. But yeah, so I don't know. That could mean anything. That could mean anything, and we could read anything into that particular statement, and it's a good wave we can ride for about a week, and that's pretty much it. We're not probably going to talk about this until we actually see something, a picture, a teaser, a trailer,
And that's
something.
what they did. They did their marketing well. They left you hanging. They left you angry.
They did.
They gave you an emotion. Maybe it's not the emotion that you
Yeah,
want to have, but they left an
they did.
impression
They
on you.
did. It worked. It worked, but it's frustrating because the studio has so much talent, right? And I definitely want to see them win. You know, you want to see talent win, especially if you know the talent is being used, put to good use at a particular spot wherever they do what they do. But you know, it's interesting, and even in the talent pool, you know, Destiny 2 with the recent dev update, which is the last thing that we have on the docket today, as far as episode 385 is concerned. They're making a lot of changes that leading to what we enjoyed about the game. Okay, so I can go off on this for a second.
Do it.
So I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna slow down. I want what's Taco saying? What's El Taco saying? Let's address what he's saying
He
first of all.
says, maybe I need to give Halo 5 another try. Didn't feel it as much. I liked 4. Feels like it may not be Halo, though, which I wish it was.
Okay. So let me tell you what to do, El Taco, if I may. May I tell you what to do 1 second? I just feel like telling people what to do just this one time. Okay. I want you to activate Do Not Disturb, right? And then play Halo. Play the experience. Don't be bothered by anybody and just play through it. Now, two things are going to happen, maybe three if we want to have in the middle. You're either gonna love it, you're gonna hate it, or you're gonna appreciate something about it. That's the middle. But I don't think it's one or the other. It's always somewhere in the middle because there's a lot to love in Halo 5. Even if you haven't played Halo 5 yet and you're in this party chat right now, in this chat room right now, um, there's a lot to love about that game. I still go back and play it. It's a solid PvP experience. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say there. I wanted to leave that there. So as far as Destiny 2 is concerned, Destiny 2, we love it. El Taco, I know you play Destiny 2 on a regular basis. That's a game that we love. And if you play Destiny in this chat, it's a good game. But it leaves you. I'm trying to find an analogy that's clean, right? Because it's frustrating playing Destiny 2 these days, isn't it? You know, if you play Destiny, if you're listening to this podcast later, it's frustrating playing Destiny. Now that they're getting ready to make all these these dev updates and these changes to line the game up to what we've enjoyed about the game. So Destiny, the first one comes out, everyone complains about the grind. Oh, the grind is too much. Oh, the grind is this. Why do we have to grind this much for this weapon? Why do we have to do this crazy stuff for Outbreak Prime? But yet, everybody misses the grind. So now we're adding the grind element back into we're adding what you complained about back into the thing, right? So the marketing thing was, oh yeah, we want to improve the quality of life, right? Based on how you do things. Zer, he's no longer going to leave on what Sunday. Now he leaves on Tuesday, right? Or whatever it is. So they made a whole bunch of changes to the game that we really appreciate, right? We really do. We appreciate these changes, but at the same time, where's the grind though, right? So they made a lot of changes for the individuals who are coming into the game for the first time to play it, but they left the grinders out cold. That's the bottom line. So now what you're seeing, which I'm not necessarily going to spend the time to read the dev update. I'm going to have it in the show notes. Unless you want me to read one or two things from the dev update, I can do that. But outside of that, they're going back to what made the game, and that's the grind. That's the climb. That's what you do in Destiny. You either love it or hate it. But if you want Outbreak Prime, you got to grind. You got to get people on the same page with you, and you got to do what you got to do to get the guns. That's what it is. Now, not so much. We're getting a lot of stuff for free. We're getting a lot of exotics for free. There's a little grind involved. There's a 3 of coin thing that they need to fix. There's a bug in there somewhere if they're still working on that. There's a lot of changes coming for the better. And what's coming? The grind. That's what's coming back to Destiny. That's what we missed. That's what we're getting. Okay, I'm done.
I'm done. I'm reading the updates and everything that I will be this. Oh, I will say this because here's El Taco Justice and Aaron Shack who say that they love the grind. You love the grind. I hate the grind. I don't. It's not enjoyable to me, and that's probably where that update came back. Where those people who to like it, they were left out. But no, it's not like I think that Destiny is a terrible game. It's just not me, and I tried to play it. I tried to like it. It got to that grind and I couldn't do it. And I like how Hundreds comes in here and the first thing she says is yuck.
Stop it.
And I think really when it strikes a balance, and I think Bungie is trying to find that really nice sweet spot in catering to both their serious lovers, those people who love this game, who want to love it and continue loving it and supporting it, and those who are really super casual like I am. It's just finding that balance, and I really feel that Destiny is a type of game where they have to pay attention a little bit more in their hardcore dedicated player base rather than their casuals. I think that's what it comes down to, because like Destiny 1, a lot of people dropped that game really early on, but the hardcore people, they loved everything it had and they stuck with it, and Destiny 2 catered too much to the casual player base. And I think that hurt them more than all. It was great. I liked it. But again, I am one of those casual players that, you know what, is going to play it for a little while and then probably not touch it again. So if that's what they're going back to, they're going to their hardcore players, they're adding that grind back on. More power to them. That's what they should do, and that's what they need to do. That's my thought. I still don't like Destiny 2.
I'm not saying anything about that. So that's what's going on. So any final comments, chat, because we're about to close out. This was an absolutely amazing show, episode 385 of the show radio. We had an awesome time. As you see, we have a new layout. We're going to test out different versions of this layout, see what we like, what we don't like, it seems like you guys are really digging this format. You know, what's different? You definitely want to hear some additional thoughts about that. Talk to me. What's up, DJ?
I don't know. I like it. I like having the 2 windows. I don't know. As long as everybody else likes it, we're going to go with that. We're going to go with the 2.
Word.
So if you're watching this in the VOD or later on and past the thing, again, if you're just downloading it, if you got some times, got like 5 minutes to come and check out our VOD. Let us know what you think about this new look. If you prefer the 2 camera or if you want us to go back to having the single camera. We'll see how we'll just play it by ear and
format
see.
Is nice, says Aaron. Yeah, seems the chats are feeling 2 windows. Okay, try 2 windows. Fair enough.
Okay, so
I dig the 2
windows.
There it is. There it is. Love the 2 cameras. There it is. There it is. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We'll roll with it. We'll do different versions of it, different setup. We'll talk behind the scenes and maybe in front of the scenes on Instagram. Do a little bit of that. So we'll roll with this and see what happens in the next couple of weeks. And I'm really feeling it. So in terms of incorporating other individuals, we have to see exactly how that's going to work out because that's going to be interesting.
Windows would be smaller. Obviously, the windows would be smaller.
And they need to be on. Yeah, we're gonna have to work that out on Discord and all that stuff. So I skipped over the what? What did I skip over?
Over her salt.
Oh, the salt? No, I'm used to the salt by now. I think it's all good. You know, we're still buds.
She says, you know what would make me hate Destiny 2 even more? If they added Spider-Man.
I saw it. We're still buds. It's all good. But yeah, so that's it. If we don't have any other comments in the chat, glad that you guys hung out with us. I really do appreciate it. You guys made the show what it is because you were here. So thanks for that. Miss DJ M, close us out, DJ.
Oh, I want to add one more thing. Even if you're downloading this after the fact, for everybody that downloads, you do know that we do have an email. If you can't attend to our shows live Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, you can email us your questions, your suggestions, all at community@theshowradio.info. I had to think about that for a little bit on the email. You can email us and, we'll read it live. We love all your comments. And also want to give a nice little thank you to Omar on Twitter. He wanted to know what my thoughts were on Jumanji, and I hope that was, that's what you're expecting or you're thinking, and if it was helpful to you or anything like that. I appreciate you downloading and listening. And again, so thank you guys for checking us out and being here live with us if you could. And if you can download us on any of your favorite podcatchers, you can also subscribe to us at theshowradio.info/listen. And definitely, please, if you want to, check out our Twitch channel here at twitch.tv, The Show Radio Live. And you can always find all of our information, all of our past shows, everything that we talked about on today's show on our site at www.theshowradio.info. Until then, see you guys next Sunday. Bye, guys. You can see you. You can say bye, too. It's not like I took away the one screen. All right, bye, guys.